ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon. They are set to ring their cowbells here at Davis Wade. All the Bulldog fans pouring in for the SEC opener. Coach O and LSU taking on Mike Leach and Mississippi State. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky. Chris Budden will join us in just a moment. I wonder if there's a little revenge on the mind for the Bayou Bengals based on what happened last year, giving up 623 passing yards to this Mike Leach offense that can pour it on.
Not only revenge, but respect. This is a type of game that, as a player, you remember what happened last year, and you kind of make it a point. I'm not going to allow anything like that to happen again.
How about our keys to victory, brought to you by Barbecue Guy?
Yeah, I'd say LSU defensively, make sure you don't beat yourself and give the game away. And then offensively, understand that Mississippi State is going to try to confuse you. Handle that. Max Johnson, their quarterback, has done such a nice job of making some plays down the field. Continue to do that. And then for Will Rogers and Mississippi State offensively, see it and trust it and then rip it. You're playing a simpler defense, know where they're not, throw it there. And then he's done an awesome job of allowing his playmakers downfield to go get an opportunity ball. Some of those one-on-ones, you got to hit some of those.
The 2019 national champions, of course, with Coach O. 15-0 record. He was the National Coach of the Year, the SEC Coach of the Year, and looking to get back to that level against now a Mike Leach team that we know that they can rack up pinball-type offensive numbers. They just won the toss. They're taking the football. Most teams defer. Mike Leach says, put my offense out there.
Know thyself, right? What's the saying? He knows how to scratch where it itches offensively. One of the greatest minds we have in college football. Excited to see his offense operate today.
And this kickoff will go through the end zone as Tula Griffin watches it sail. Well, Will Rogers, a season high in passing touchdowns last week in a very disappointing loss to Memphis with 3 scores and racked up an SEC record, 50 completions. He broke his own Mississippi State record with 67 attempts. Welcome to the air raid.
Yeah, I love the kid's moxie. You're going to watch a lot of, dink and dunk football at moments, but also creativity in the pocket with his feet. He is an absolute gamer.
And his first pass of the game caught by Makai Polk for 5. Long throw to the sideline. Perfectly timed to Malik Heath. And there is a Mississippi State first down, gain of 13.
One of the things that you will see today out of this Mississippi State offense and their quarterback, Will Rogers, how many completions can I get, and then how quickly can I actually get them? He is a catch-and-throw quarterback.
And he's got Woody Marks to his right in the backfield. Austin Williams, the motion man. Marks on the ground for the first time, and he's got a first down and more. Wide receiver screen to Malik Heath. He gets down the sideline, and he's got about 7, maybe 8 before he's thrown out by Cameron Lewis. Well, Will Rogers was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he watched that famous Texas Tech-Texas game. Michael Crabtree with the game-winning touchdown, sitting at his daddy's feet. And the two said, this is a really cool offense. As Marks shakes and bakes and gets dropped by Micah Baskerville. And his dad became his high school offensive coordinator. And they said, we are going to run as close a version of the Mike Leach offense in high school as possible. Now he ends up actually quarterbacking for Mike Leach here in Starkville.
Yeah, and so many reps that he can kind of run back in his mind to the experience of high school. And you know, when you talk to Mississippi State, he's got ownership of the locker room, ownership of the huddle, ownership of the sideline. So talented, but also really revels in the position of playing quarterback for them.
3rd down and 5. Well protected. Finds a crosser. It is Heath. The ball pops out. And that is going to be scooped up. Down the sideline goes Clark. A giveaway by Mississippi State as Damone Clark ends up with a 40-yard fumble recovery return. And he sets up LSU in plus territory.
It's just a shallow cross. Good ball to Heath, and then the pop by Flott right there. The ball pops out. Awesome job by Damone Clark, not just falling on it, but getting the ball and running down that sideline. It is such a big play for this defense. You're not going to stop everything that Mississippi State wants to do. Yeah, getting your helmet on the ball and trying to create a takeaway is a huge start for this defense.
So Heath gives it away, and Max Johnson gets to start. A first offensive possession of the game for LSU, and they had it mismarked at the 30-yard line. They'll back it up 5 to the 35. But for Ed Orgeron's offense, a short field for their first opportunity.
This 2-by-2 formation, this is often where they want to try to take shots downfield off that sudden change.
Ute in motion. Instead, it's Ty Davis-Price going nowhere. Brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Flowing to make the tackle was Cameron Young. Max Johnson, 4-1 as a starter, 11 touchdowns through the first 3 games for LSU. That's #1 in the SEC, but of course now it gets tougher. It is now time for conference play. Play action here, and he slides one up the hash marks. Jack Besh, the tight end, makes a sliding catch for 9, so here's 3rd down and 1. Lining up the play in a phone booth, and I'm not sure that Johnson got forward progress. He is short. Quarterback sneak gets shut down, and now an early decision for Coach O. 4th down and a half yard. And they're going for it. Here come the extra tight ends.
Watching that quarterback sneak on 3rd down and the way that the defensive line for Mississippi State pushed the middle, I don't trust running behind the center of this offensive line. I think you got to try to get the ball to the perimeter.
Davis-Price to the left of Johnson in the shotgun on 4th down and a half yard. And he's got the first down on the dive. Needed a half yard, got 2.5.
And that's a question for this offense. I think LSU offensively can throw it with anybody in the conference. Can they line up and run it with anybody in the conference? And we saw 1st down, they didn't get any yards. 3rd and 1, they didn't get anything. Now, good 4th down conversion there, but you got to play to who you are. This is a throw-first offense right now.
Mississippi State rushes 4. Johnson out of the pocket, and he finds a check down as the freshman Brian Thomas pushes his way inside the 15. Just about to the 1st down line to gain. He picked up 9, so it's 2nd and 1.
Nifty in the pocket by Max Johnson. I love the fact that he climbs. There's a seam to take off, but then he's got Thomas wide open on the sideline. Let me just kick it out to him and get to 2nd and 1.
They'll run it with Ty Davis-Price. He's got the 1st down. Knocked out just inside the 12. Fred Peters made another stop for Mississippi State, but a 4th down conversion kept the drive alive, and now it's 1st and 10 at the 12.
And playing against this Mississippi State defense, they got 2 really good corners, Emerson and Forbes. As an offense, I think you really got to work the middle of the field to think that you're going to have some success in the pass game. Kayshon
Boutte Makes it trips to the near side. He's the motion man. So dangerous as a slot receiver. And now Johnson creeps up under center. And now he will back up. Might have been changing the play. And there's the wide receiver screen to Boutte. Bottled up. Picked up a yard. Well forced by the secondary for Mississippi State. Aaron Brule got in to combine with Emmanuel Forbes on the stop.
Brule, the unquestioned leader of this Mississippi State defense. Just an aggressive football player. You saw it there on that quick perimeter screen.
Johnson on 2nd and 9. Hit as he throws, and it comes out wobbly and falls incomplete. The pocket pushed by Randy Charlton. And a little slow to get up is Chasen Hines, the right guard as well. This is a banged up offensive line.
Watch Boutte from the right side of the screen. He's actually going to have him. He's going to throw that ball to space. And then Hines just gets pushed right back into him. The rush really wins that play for the defense.
So 3rd down and 9. They can pick up a 1st down inside the 2. Here comes a blitz. Johnson shirks off a sack, slides one into the end zone, and that's a touchdown to Boutte. Subtle little step up in the pocket for Max Johnson. He beats the blitz, and LSU is able to take the short field and score first.
What a fantastic play by Max Johnson. All out pressure, left side, unblocked defender. Hold the ball tight to your chest, climb, and then know where Boutte is going to be. It's the same play, really, that they ran on 3rd down. Just the awareness of knowing I got an unblocked defender, he's my responsibility, and then allow Boutte to cross in man coverage. Talked about him being a nifty athlete, and it's really on display there for a 6'4", 220-pound kid. He moves way better than that.
York tacks on the point after. Points off turnovers. 7 already for LSU.
It starts with the flat hit. Damone Clark scoops it up. And then on 3rd and goal, Max Johnson finds Kayshon Boutte. Tigers up on the road early, 7-0.
Matt Berry in our college football studios with a Rocket Mortgage studio update. No surprise that Georgia is out early and often on Vanderbilt. Brock Bowers has scored 2 touchdowns early. It is 13-0 Bulldogs. Bob and Dan.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. It's 7-0 LSU here, and Dan points off turnovers.
Big deal, right? Your defense comes out, gets a huge turnover on that pop fumble. But I would say this in football, not necessarily how many turnovers you get. Do you do anything with it? The big thing for me was those short yardage situations that LSU got to allow their drive to stay alive, and then their quarterback made a play.
Avery Atkins puts it through the back of the end zone again. Chris Budden is with us as well. And Chris, a short-handed LSU defense.
Yeah, they're without their star cornerback, Derek Stingley Jr. He re-injured the foot that he hurt in fall camp that kept him all out. He is here today. He is wearing a boot. Now, in this matchup last year, Stingley was also injured. Mississippi State threw for over 600 yards in that game.
So not only missing Stingley, Andre Anthony, arguably their best pass rusher with a knee injury last week. He's out for the year. B.J. Ojulari is healthy. And Ali Gay is out there, although he's nursing a back injury from Thursday as Jaquavius Marks, better known as Woody, moves the pile for about 6. So even some players that are on the field are less than 100% for the LSU defense.
Yeah, and obviously missing Andre Anthony and Derek Stingley is not great. And I said this to you going into the game, Bob. It doesn't matter unless you fix the flaws of the defense, which is everybody putting their eyes in the wrong spot at times, or everybody having poor communication. So while those talented players aren't there, they still got to fix some of the things that have hurt this football team last year and this year.
Marks with a 1st down run. Stopped by Cameron Lewis. He picked up 7.
And you could already see it in this game. The 2 linebackers, both Damone Clark, who had that fumble recovery, and then Baskerville in the run game, they're not reacting in the run game. They're playing the pass first, and there's no communication of, hey, where's the ball? Where are we flowing? Who's the fitter against that run game?
Lots of pre-snap motion and great protection for Rodgers. Looking for a check down and sailed it a little too high for Dylan Johnson.
It's almost that play is the perfect image of how many times can LSU defensively do that? How many times can they play disciplined, fall back, force Will Rogers to take a shorter throw that you don't necessarily want as a quarterback, and then rally to the football? Can he go 10, 12, 14 play drives on a consistent basis over the 4 quarters?
Another swing pass, this one to Marks, and he's tripped up near the line of scrimmage. Another tackle for Cameron Lewis. He only picked up a couple, so now it's 3rd down and 8.
Great drop. And that last 3rd down, when the fumble happens, LSU played soft zone, made the shallow cross come underneath. And this is where Mike Leach wants Will Rogers to be a little bit more challenging of the defense. I know you can throw that shallow cross that might be 4 yards, but that in at 12 yards might be coming open. And that's when he wants to challenge the defense a little bit more.
Rodgers again forced to swing one out in the flat. Dylan Johnson's got it, and here comes the LSU defense to rally to the ball and get a 3rd down stop. That was a really well executed series of downs, keeping everything in front of them for LSU.
Yeah, make the quarterback play boring, but also when you do that, you have to tackle well. The vice tackle on the ball carrier right there allows the defense, because you're really only 3 yards short of that 1st down. And so good job of falling back, playing your zone, and then everybody running to the football and getting population to make that tackle.
Archer Trafford takes a low snap and gets away a wobbly kick. Trey Palmer will let it bounce, and it takes a sideways hop out of bounds near the 20-yard line. LSU scored the game's first points with a short field off the giveaway, and now they'll have the long field, up by 7.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon, driven forward, and in part by Twisted Hard Iced Tea. Crack open a refreshing Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
The colors of the dog walk as we take a look at today's colors of tradition, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams.
I'm representing my great alumni, Mississippi State, and I know my Mississippi State family is out there doing the same. So go get your maroon and let's have a great day. Hail State, baby.
Not a bad spokesman for the program.
Yeah, supposedly he's had some success. He's made me eat crow, Dak Prescott. He has proven to me that he is an absolute superstar at the quarterback spot in the league, man. I'm happy for him. Good dude.
And to come off that injury from last season to play as well as he has played already this season. Corey Kiner is the true freshman at tailback, and he takes the handoff from Max Johnson. Nowhere to go. He lost some real estate. Emmanuel Forbes forced him out, but the right side of that Mississippi State defense, a terrific job to hold the fort. And Max Johnson off to a good start, especially in the face of pressure.
And that's the thing that even in one drive concerns you a little bit, because you're not getting great 1st down run game production, and then you're going, okay, quarterback, now the defense knows everybody's got to throw the football, or you have to throw the football, and we can really get into some pressure packages. It showed up a little bit against this offensive line.
Only a 3-man rush, and Johnson moves the pocket, throws into a tight window right at the 1st down line to gain, and the freshman Deion Smith is able to come down with it.
Deion Smith is a nice player. I love the fact that they move Max Johnson. He gets to really the 4th guy in the pass concept progression. Great throw.
And off to another freshman, Armani Goodwin. He picks up a couple of yards. These are 2 very young football teams at some very important spots.
Absolutely, specifically the quarterbacks, right? Mississippi State as their super sophomores, and then Max Johnson played a little bit last year. Obviously became their starting quarterback this year, but he's still very much so a progression in work. And everyone needs, as much as we don't want to understand that.
Again, he moves the pocket. Wide open is Boutte, but he misses him. A wobbly throw from Max Johnson, and now it will be 3rd down and 8 as Cameron Young forced Johnson out of the pocket.
3rd and 8 against this Mississippi State defense. It's one that you're going to watch at the snap. Look at the line of scrimmage. All these guys are going to be walking around, and they're really trying to get you to think more people pressure-wise are coming than they are. And you just have to trust that it's really only a 4-man pressure. It's a zone dropper. Don't put the ball over the middle of the field. You got to push the ball to the perimeter on 3rd down. Take your time, communicate, figure out who's the blitzer, who's the dropper.
And it's a 4-man rush. Again, Johnson floats out of the pocket, and that ball's dropped for what could have been an LSU first down. Deion Smith that time couldn't make the contested catch. So it will be a punt for LSU with Aaron Brule there in coverage.
This is that pressure package, zone blitz. Watch Brule, number 3, drop out right underneath the inbreaker. He wants it there. No, it's not there. Now Max Johnson moves. You'd love for that ball to get caught. Really good job by him moving the pocket. But that's really the theme against this Mississippi State defense. Is it really 6 guys coming? No, it's not. It's only 4. And you got to figure out where those droppers are in the zones.
And that is a punt that will not change field position as much, I'm sure, as Ed Orgeron hoped. It tight ropes the sideline, but this should be pretty good field position for Mississippi State. Now they're going to say it went all the way down to the 30-yard line and stayed in bounds. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Well, tonight in Las Vegas, 2 title fights and the return of Nick Diaz to the octagon. He'll take on former champ Ruthless Robbie Lawler. That highlights a stacked UFC 266 card. The prelims are on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus starting at 8 Eastern, followed by the main card on pay-per-view. To order in English and Spanish, go to espnplus.com/PPV. Tunnel screen on first down. Tulu Griffin. And he picks up about 4. The moment we talked about the fact we were going to do a little UFC coming back from break, you immediately said, is Nick Diaz on the card? You're dialing that up tonight.
Well, he's got a jaw that can just take shots. And then I believe the premier fight was Volkanovski. Anybody who has that ski, the ending pronunciation for their name is mandatory tough guy.
Shovel pass. Dylan Johnson. Only picked up about 1.5 yards. Let's check in with Matt Barry.
All right, guys, checking in on an ACC-SEC battle. Pat Garwo, 64 yards, keeps his feet. That would tie the game at 7 apiece. Good one here between Missouri and Boston College early. However, Missouri, moments ago, Tyler Beatty punches it in. Mizzou back on top, 14-7.
It's a 7-0 lead for LSU here. Will Rogers over the middle, finds a soft spot in the underneath coverage. And the sticks move as Tulu Griffin is able to pick up 10.
This is a great job by Tulu Griffin on this shallow cross from the right side of your screen. You see zone sit right now. Him and Will Rogers on the same page. He shuts the route down. That's finally a big first down for this Mississippi State offense.
Waylon Roy may have jumped. And they're just immediately walking 5 yards away. That LSU defense.
Defense, number 99 with contact. 5-yard penalty. Go first down.
Tulu Griffin is a guy that they want to get the ball to more. One of the best kick returners in the country. I love the nickname. The nickname comes from Too Loose because he was so quick. They kind of gave him the nickname Too Loose, and it's morphed into Tulu.
He kept getting away from his babysitters.
Not an issue
when he was a kid. Dylan Johnson. As his legs cut out from under him at the 40-yard line by Dwight McLaughlin, who is starting in place of Derek Stingley. Picked up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Good discipline by Mike Leach here. LSU playing so soft, 3 defensive linemen that actually Memphis gave Mississippi State some trouble with in the first half last week, running the football.
Dylan Johnson easily picks up the first down and then some. Second level. He's got 10 down to the 30-yard line.
Now, in the middle of this offensive line, Jones and Sharp and Johnson just really starting to dent the defense, pushing big fella Roy off the football. You got to have discipline as a play caller. If you're going to say, hey, we're going to play soft zone, three-man front, and you think we're going to throw it every play, you really got to believe in the offensive line. I can hand the ball off and be where you're not.
Quick hitter out to the edge. Lou Griffin dives for 5.
It's almost a cat and mouse, right, Bob? Because if you're LSU, you're going, okay, we're not going to shut down everything, but we're making them march the field, and we're making them kind of play the way that they don't want to, which is handing the ball off. So you got to have the discipline to constantly do that if you're defensive coordinator Durante Jones for LSU, and then vice versa for Mississippi State. We'll continue to turn around and give it to guys like Woody Marks and Johnson if you're going to challenge us to.
Will Rogers has hit on 6 in a row, looking for 7 straight. This time he takes a shot, and it's intercepted. He tried to drop one into a window along the sideline, and Cordell Fly sagged back in coverage and was there to pick off Will Rogers. Only the 2nd interception that Rogers has thrown this season, and the 2nd Mississippi State giveaway.
Just talked about it, the discipline to play boring football. Watch Fly, 25. His job is to really fall underneath any route towards the sideline. His shoulders stay square to the line of scrimmage. That's what allows him to get back deep enough and go elevate to go get that pick. That is picture perfect zone flat defensive play right there by Flott, the junior from Alabama. So we saw the popped out fumble on the shallow cross, and we just saw Will Rogers maybe get a little impatient. I don't want to take another check down. You try to force the ball, equals another takeaway.
So the first interception for Flott. Here's Ty Davis-Price. He picks up about 3. This is where you would want your run game to be a bigger part of what it has been so far for this LSU offense. They are averaging a paltry 86 yards per game rushing, 13th in the SEC, 120th in FBS so far, but just on cue, Ty Davis-Price breaks free. And that is about as good a looking run play as LSU has had this season. Picked up 18.
Beautiful job by the tight end, Cole Taylor. Starts on the right side of formation, fold back underneath, lead into that linebacker, and it's an awesome job by Davis-Price. Bob, I'd say the offensive line, 2 things. Go strike, and then cut it loose. Cut it loose as an offensive line unit.
Davis-Price again weaves his way for about 5.5.
Just like any position in football, you can often get consumed with the striving of perfection. And sometimes for the big guys up front with Shanahan and Ingram, and just go hit somebody violently and not worry about the mistake. And I think that's what their offensive coordinator, Jake Peets, is really looking for in this group. Just go try to push people, and if you make a mistake, we'll deal with it.
Be the final play of the opening quarter. It's Johnson to throw. Has all day. Backing up, and now hoists one to the sideline, throws it away, and that will end the first quarter. Giveaways, so far the story for Mississippi State. And a touchdown to start for Kayshon Boutte. 7-0 LSU. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. All about college football today, but it's another Sunday NFL. Week 3 has arrived, 10 a.m. Eastern. The Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app will start your day tomorrow. And our Week 3 Monday Night Football matchup has Jalen Hurts and the Eagles of the Lone Star State to meet Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli as well on ESPN 2 at 8 Eastern. They'll break down the game from their sofas. It's been a fun watch. Some great storytelling so far between Peyton and Eli and the guests they've brought on. Max Johnson lobs one down the sideline. Boutte has it broken up. Emmanuel Forbes blanketed Kayshon Boutte.
This is a beautiful job by Forbes. LSU puts Boutte to try to get that matchup in the slot. There's no pick. He plays over the top. Now Forbes, the sophomore, does a great job of just making that contested play on the ball. Get your eyes back. That right hand just gets that ball to be tipped away. Forbes is a playmaker. Last year, he was fantastic. He was a freshman All-American. I can say convincingly that Emmanuel Forbes would start at any school in America at corner. He is that good of a player.
And a good job by the Mississippi State defense to force the punt after the second turnover. Wobbly kick. And it's going to take a hop. And an LSU one at that. Although it's scooped up on the run by Jaden Wally. And Wally turned back at about the 15-yard line. So it will be Mississippi State starting deep in their own end this season, along with their contributions to universities' general scholarship funds. For every field goal and extra point made, All-State will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you to All-State. Let's head down to Chris.
Bob, after that interception, Will Rogers went up to his entire offense, apologized, and said, "That's on me, guys. We're driving. We just have to finish."
I love that. I love that leadership out of him for a young guy who's, again, very much like Max Johnson, a work in progress. I love the leadership of the accountability, and it's a learning experience for him to just play a little bit of a boring brand of football. Take your completions.
Quick toss to Marks. And Woody Marks picks up close to 5. Major Burns, the freshman strong safety, transfer from Georgia, came down to make the hit. Woody Marks, by the way, why do they call him Woody? Dan Orlovsky's favorite movie as well?
Yeah, I mean, I got 1,000 kids. So Toy Story, right? His grandmother gave him the nickname. He always wanted to wear the costume for Halloween, and just loves the movie. And I love it as well because my kids do.
A dropped pass by Ra Thomas, so it will be 3rd down and 5.
If you were a character from Toy Story nickname-wise, who would it be?
Mr. Potato Head. Body type-wise, like, is there any place else to go?
Could not have said it better than myself.
That's kind of a lateral move from Mr. Potato Head to me.
I think for Will Rogers on 3rd down here, realizing 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, anticipating zone coverage, that's what you've got. Watch his helmet. The follow the helmet where the eyes go. You got to see it and get it out of your hands.
Rogers, high throw, finds a little crevice and drops it into Austin Williams for a 1st down out to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, just watch his eyes. This is a good job of realizing zone defense. Now look at him. Peeks to the left, comes back down the hash right there. Wait for the defender to fall back. Your receiver clears from the backside. That's a big storyline for Will Rogers. If you just follow where his helmet goes, where his eyes go, he just has to trust what they're telling him and let the ball loose, especially when it comes to pushing it downfield.
Tipped ball at the line. It caroms right back to the quarterback. And Rogers probably should have batted that down. I think he went up and caught it, and he'll lose 4 yards. Ali Gay was there to tip it.
Well, you don't complete 74% of your passes, Bob, unless you're going to try to catch everything.
Oh, so. Protect that stat. He just did. Lost 4 yards in the process. Although you told me something that I don't think I've ever heard anyone say when describing the Mike Leach offense. Yeah. They call concepts more than they call plays. We'll get into that. 2nd down and 14. There's a tunnel screen near Calvin. That's out close to midfield, makes it 3rd down and manageable. But I mean, we're so used to seeing Andy Reid, right, with that giant menu of plays. And what does it mean, though, with that little piece of paper that you see Mike Leach use on the sideline to call concepts and not plays?
Yeah, so concepts really build routes into a singular play, so to speak. So he can use one word, and if there's 2 receivers to the side, let's say the word is captain. It could be a hook and a flat route. But then that play can change if there's 3 receivers to that side. And then that play can change if there's grass somewhere or the defense plays a certain coverage.
Whatever play they're running to Austin Williams, it keeps on working. It's another 3rd down conversion. Down to the 35-yard line, he picks up 19.
You know, every route has a rule. Hey, if you run, again, captain, if you run a hook route and the corner doesn't fall off and play, say, a cover 3 and he plays a flat area, well, you don't want to run a hook route. It's a bad route. Hey, the hook route, you convert to a corner route. And if there's 3 receivers to a side, instead of a hook and a flat route, we'll run a clear route as well. And so everything's got a rule to it, given what the defense plays coverage-wise. And then if there's green grass, that you're constantly changing on the fly. It's almost like the alphabet, right? So every letter has a sound. but that letter's sound foundationally can change if it's put into a word. The letter C can sound like a K, or it can sound like an S, essentially, depending on what it gets tied to. So it's always these concepts that you can have, and they really can be 15 plays essentially in one, depending again on what the coverage is by the defense, or if there's green grass somewhere available for the offense.
Woody Marks finds green grass into the red zone. He picks up 9 down to the 13-yard line. That's a lot of freedom to give college wide receivers and a sophomore quarterback, right? I mean, a lot of decision-making that they are making inside the concepts of the offense more than, hey, here's the play we're going to run.
And that's one of the reasons why
First charge timeout of the half, LSU.
Being on the same page is such a big deal for this offense.
Well, right now, Mississippi State has LSU's defense on their heels. So the Bayou Bengals spend a timeout. We are back with a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. A couple of teams in the top 10 playing right now, and both off to early leads, as Georgia having no problem with Vanderbilt. Penn State off the whiteout game last week, 14-3 lead over Villanova. And you can see later on tonight on ESPN, we will have Oregon in action, as this is the SEC opener for LSU and Mississippi State. 2 times Mississippi State here in the first half has turned the ball over in plus territory. So they are threatening again, 2nd down and short in the red zone. Here's Marks, and he's going to be thrown down at the line of scrimmage by Neil Farrell. So now you've got a short yardage red zone 3rd down coming here for the Bulldogs.
And this is similar to LSU offensively. There's the question of, can this offense that loves to play the spread out, air raid style, can they line up and get 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 in this conference on a consistent basis? Because the argument is you're always going to play defenses that got great corners and great cover people. Man-to-man coverage is tough to beat. Can you line up and get 2 yards?
They'll try and run for it. Up the middle goes Marks, and he's got it down to the 10-yard line. It's a goal-to-go situation for Mississippi State.
A really nice job. They just folded Johnson on a little pull or pop that. And this isn't, again, we had this conversation about how this offense is concepts, and they just one-word it, and every route has got rules, and they can alter. This is where it shows up in the red zone the most. You can get a stick route, a 5-yard out route that can become a sit route or become a stick and nod depending on how the defense plays them. This is where it starts to really show itself.
Rodgers, quarterback run. That may have been his 2nd option as he dives down to the 6-yard line. Farrell was in the backfield. That didn't look like what Will Rogers wanted to do at first, but he ends up diving ahead for 4.
I just love the instincts. You know, that was going to be a little bit of a shovel pass screen to the back. Woody Marks, and great job by LSU covering it down, and he's just going to kick it out. I still think you can you can try to pop a run here if you're Mississippi State, because you're going to get so much coverage out of LSU.
12th play of the drive. There's a slant. And getting dragged down at about the 2-yard line is Williams. So now it will be 3rd down and goal from just inside the 2.
Yeah, perfect example of it. That was supposed to be a slant by Williams. He sees the linebacker sit inside. He sits it down in kind of the vacancy of the defense. So really one play or concept is called, and it became a separate route, so to speak, for Williams because where the defense was.
Marks in the backfield. Dylan Johnson checks in the game. He is set up as an H-back to the right. So both tailbacks are on the field on 3rd down and goal just inside the 2. They'll run it. Nowhere to go for Marks. Swallowed up back at the 5-yard line. Farrell got through first again. B.J. Ojolari there to help. And now it will be 4th and goal, but back at the 5. So here comes the field goal group.
Yeah, there's definitely some whips by the offensive line for Mississippi State right there. Just not everybody on the same page. Farrell with a big drive there, a couple tackles for losses, and this is a defense that gets after it, and B.J. Ojolari comes to clean it up. Some good 3rd down conversions, though, out of this Mississippi State offense to try to get 3 points on the board.
Nolan McCord from short range for the first time in his career, only 23 yards out. And he will get Mississippi State on the board. Good job getting a field goal stop in the red zone by the LSU defense.
ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, is brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
Mississippi State won a national championship in baseball, a huge baseball school here. Ron Polk, who coached for 2 decades here at Mississippi State, has become friends with Mike Leach. He's written a book, The Baseball Playbook, that Coach Leach has read and taken some thoughts of. Leach actually lived at the apartments out at Dudy Noble for a couple months when he moved here. He wanted to stay, but they kicked him out eventually.
That's what I'm going to do to you to the booth. You may want to stay, but you got to get out, bub.
It is a fun place to watch a college baseball game, though, here in Starkville. Scott Goodman, this time with an end-over-end kick. And this will go through the back of the end zone. So back to work the LSU offense. Max Johnson, of course, the quarterback. And Chris, talk about a competitive family that Max Johnson comes from.
Yeah, has quite a pedigree in terms of athletes. Dad, Super Bowl winning quarterback, mom, volleyball player, uncle is Mark Richt. So they have these family competitions. Dad, Brad, would go to like the local Michaels and make these belts out of them. One of them is for a tennis champ. One of them is for a shuffleboard champ. One of them is for air hockey. And the best one is for ping pong, that mom will actually come and play here at the facility. Coach O said she's the best athlete and the biggest competitor. When she wins here on campus, she walks out of the room being, oh yeah, that's me.
I just like the fact they've chosen sports I could compete in, because there are many that I would not be able to compete in with that family. And now the pass rush gets home as Max Johnson goes down. Randy Charlton eventually gets the 9-yard sack. Brule there as well.
Well, you don't want your tailback, Davis Price, who's 220 pounds, blocking Charlton, who's 265. Right side of our screen, first of all, Brule gets open, and then Charlton becomes essentially unblocked. I don't love that schematically for LSU, asking Davis Price to go block Brule, who, again, mentioned it last year, led the nation in quarterback pressures. They love to bring him in their blitz packages.
Hitter to Deion Smith. Not much room. Martin Emerson drove him out. He picks up 7. So now it's 3rd down and 12.
Big part of this for Max Johnson on these 3rd downs for the rest of this game is really seeing the picture after the snap. Boutte in the slot, view work across the field. Top of the screen, left side of the field, all the way across, and just trust your eyes within the progression. Talking to the offensive line, changing our protection, changing the rules of who the tight end may have. The back should get a chip by 87 Taylor, and then trust the progression of the play.
Play clock down to 2, down to 1. They get the snap off. The pocket starts to collapse. Long wobbly throw, and it's wide open to Brian Thomas on 3rd down and 12. A gain of 20. What a big 3rd down conversion for LSU as the protection held up in front of Max Johnson.
I love the route, though. Watch by Thomas. Push, 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 push. Now set it down. Get that corner to get out of his back pedal, open his hips, and run downfield. And then that's really one of those pitch and catches, quarterback to receiver.
Another 1st down throw. A lob down the sideline. And that one is intercepted. Picked off by Emmanuel Forbes. Mississippi State's first takeaway. The 7th career interception for the SEC active pickoff leader, Emmanuel Forbes. He gets it back for the Dogs.
Just an outstanding job of tracking the go route ball. 6 foot, go extend it. Big turnover for this Bulldogs defense.
Matt Berry with your AT&T 5G studio update. Boy, it's been a rough day for Tyler Shuck in Texas Tech. Josh Thompson jumps the route. Pick 6, all Longhorns. Now for more alphabet soup. Back to Dan Orlovsky.
That's the type of throw Matt Berry would make. Just to lob it out there, his 5'9", 140-pound frame from the Pac-12.
See, he just said alphabet soup. He didn't really take a shot at you. As Will Rogers swings one in the left flat. And Dylan Johnson is bumped out along the near sideline after a gain of about 7. I'm not sure where that Matt Berry venom comes from you. Just a mean-spirited person sometimes.
You don't have to do noon Sports Center on Thursday with them, so it's properly placed anger.
Dan Orlovsky, the bitter one. Bob Wischusen, just a very happy soul here with Chris Button in Starkville. About 5.5 to go in the first half. Low-scoring, turnover-filled first half. 3 total takeaways. Johnson looking for a cutback late, and that looks to be good enough for a Mississippi State first half.
I mentioned this a couple of drives ago with Will Rogers. Is he going to be content just continuing to check the football down? Because LSU has made it very clear, specifically with Derek Stingley out, they're not going to play a lot of man coverage. They're going to get in these 3-man fronts, and they're going to make sure that they're getting a lot of depth in their drops. He's just got to stay content in delivering the football.
That's his 9th straight completion. And you complete 9 in a row by making sure the high percentage throw and the smart play often is the one that you make.
It's the only play. You know, Sean McVay once said that to me, the head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. That's the only play. It's the right play because it's the only one. A big thing that's going to be a storyline for this football game is when those pass catchers, receivers and/or backs for Mississippi State get the ball, who wins in the open field? Does LSU tackle really well in space, or do they make guys miss?
Only a 3-man rush. That means 8 are back in coverage. So Rogers has all day. Finally throws one to the sideline. Malik Heath, the intended receiver, but that's incomplete.
It's one of those examples. 2nd and 9. Take a check down. You're trying to flood the field, top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. Take the check down to the back. Take the check down to Heath right there. Earlier, as a quarterback, when you're playing zone coverage, it's about trying to stress a certain defender with high, lows, or horizontal stretches across the field. The quicker you get the ball out of your hands into the more athletic guys' hands, the playmakers' hands, the more time that they have to do things with it. And that's one of the big things for Will Rogers to really focus on today.
4-man rush. Rogers steps up, sidearms one over the middle, and that's incomplete. Looking for Dylan Johnson. Damone Clark was lurking in coverage, and Johnson's hurt. Woody Marks and Dylan Johnson both on the Doak Walker watch list this year, as this is the only team in the SEC with multiple players at running back on that watch list. One of them's hurt. Saturday Night Football on ABC has West Virginia quarterback Jared Dagey leading the Mountaineers against Spencer Rattler and number 4 Oklahoma. 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. One app, one tap.
West Virginia's got a good defense. I think Spencer Rattler, the big thing for him, such a talented quarterback. Mechanically, he's got to trust that the mechanics will make him a better quarterback because the talent is so much there.
Trafford with a very nice punt all the way back to the 15-yard line goes Trey Palmer. Makes the first man miss. Makes the second man miss. Now he's got a convoy along the sideline. Terrific return by Trey Palmer as he is out close to midfield. Let's check in again with Matt Barrett.
Okay, friends, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, as expected, defense between Notre Dame and Wisconsin. Highlights of that. Opposite end of the spectrum in the iron skillet. You won't believe what's going on between TCU and SMU, plus Texas having today. You best talk about them in the Big 12. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me in our family atmosphere. Nothing but good moods in our studio here coming up on the Lexus halftime reports.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, right? The guys back in the studio just continuing that family atmosphere here on our broadcast. The wedge that Dan Orlovsky constantly tries to drive between us all, it's just not working.
Oh, Jesse and Joey only have to work with him for a day.
Corey Kiner to the left of Max Johnson in the shotgun. He'll take the handoff, and he will gain about 2. So interesting to see how these last 4 minutes or so are managed by both teams. As LSU, short field off the turnover at the start of the game. They go in and score a touchdown. Their last 3 drives only generating 58 total yards.
And they're trying to run the ball on first down, and it's not working, and it's creating a lot of second and third longs, and that's just a lot of stress on this offensive line.
They'll try and run it again. This time a broken tackle by Kiner. And he gets to the sideline. It will be 3rd down and short. Randy Charlton was there to help clamp down Corey Kiner. 3rd and about 2.5.
You know, one of the things I love about this Mississippi State defense, they just hunt the football. And you saw a little bit of a broken tackle there by Kiner, but bodies are running. Keyshawn Boutte, put him in the slot. Allow him to work opposite Emerson, opposite Forbes. See if you can get a favorable matchup in some man coverage.
He's in the slot right, closest to the tackle box as part of that trips to the near side. Only a 3-man rush on 3rd down. Max Johnson able to complete for the first. The tight end, Jack Besh, just did get enough to midfield and just over to move the chains for LSU.
Just an awesome route by Besh. You know, he's got this little short 3 or 4 yard in route. Big thing for him. You got to go underneath defenders, those dropped out defenders. That's a great job by the freshman of coming underneath. He goes over the top. That play is dead. Good job avoiding contact and giving somebody for Max Johnson to throw the ball to.
All the time in the world for LSU. They've got 2 timeouts as well. Johnson looking to the sideline. Bullets one, incomplete. Intended for Smith on the dive. Good coverage again from Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah, it's the 2nd quarter. There's 2 minutes left. You've been with me long enough. I'm stopping. I'm not throwing the ball at 13 anymore. It's just too good of a player right now. There's other areas of the field that you can work opposite 13. I'll take some of my receivers and leave them out there, the guys that I don't want early in my progression, and I'm going to work really from the left hash all the way to the field in this 3-by-1 formation.
Mississippi State brings a blitz. Under pressure, it gets home. Flag down, and down goes Max Johnson. Aaron Odom gets the sack. It's a loss of 6, and we check the marker as well.
Watch Odom on the stunt. Spins inside. The guard and the back are both on the wrong person. Poor communication. I said it at the beginning of the game. Are we going to the right people and the right places? That stunt by Odom goes unblocked. Max Johnson goes down for the sack.
Personal foul, top block, offense. That penalty is declined. We go to the play, 3rd down.
So they gain 6 with the sack, and they get the down. Or would you have taken 15 yards on a personal foul, but given LSU the down back? That's a good debate.
I would do exactly what Mississippi State did, because the goal is to get off the field. And you are now 1 play closer to actually getting off the field. I also think your 3rd down blitz package should be enough to confuse LSU and force the ball to Max Johnson's hands.
Under 2 minutes to go in the half.
You got to think tight end, Cole Taylor, help chip the defensive end, and you really got to work in between the hashes if you're Max Johnson.
Johnson, this time good protection, long throw, coming back to make the catch is Brian Thomas, only a couple of yards shy of a 1st down. So this might be go for it time here with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half for LSU. They're going to go for it, I think, on 4th down.
Yeah, I think if I was LSU, I would allow this clock to wind all the way down, though. I'm going to allow it to go down to 1 second and then call a timeout. So if I don't get it, I'm leaving Mississippi State as little time possible.
LSU still has 2 timeouts. Is this a hard count?
Yeah, this is smart. Try to drive him off sides. You call timeout with about 50 seconds to go and talk about this situation.
Johnson now creeps up under center. Mississippi State holds their water. Play clock down to 1, down to 0. And it looks like Ed Orgeron did call a timeout for the sideline.
Timeout on behalf of LSU. 30 seconds.
Now, LSU gets the ball to start the second half. So would you think about maybe playing field position here now that you took the clock all the way down? Mississippi State has all 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
But if you punt it here and your punter does his job and gets it inside the 15, if not inside the 10-yard line, the long field, even with 3 timeouts and only 42 seconds on the clock or so, that might be the way to go.
I think I would punt the football here. As well as I love my passing game, my offensive line has not played well in the run game. With the movement from the Mississippi State defensive line and the risk of it, I'd punt this ball away, force Mississippi State to drive hopefully 80-plus yards and try to go score.
And that's exactly what LSU is going to do. So it's Avery Atkins wearing the coveted number 18. It was after, as a walk-on, he was able to rack up basically every LSU kickoff record. Ed Orgeron gave him the under 18 at an early season team meeting. And Austin Williams makes the fair catch just outside the 10-yard line. So that, in terms of managing the game, well done by LSU.
Yeah, and for their offense, Mississippi State, when you're going to get these light boxes, 3 defensive linemen, be disciplined enough to hand the ball off and really allow those bigs to dent the line of scrimmage. And then the pass game, you got 3 deep, 5 underneath. It's about stressing a zone, go route, swing route, crossing route by Austin Williams. Allow your quarterback to kind of thread it in between those defenders. So this drive is going to be about 2 minutes and getting completions. But as you go into the second half, is Mike Leach going to lean on the run just a little bit more with a Woody Marks, and will he trust those floods in the zone coverage by LSU and his quarterback's decision-making 1 to 2 to 3?
Again, Mississippi State has all 3 timeouts. Oftentimes, you might want to see if you can pop a run here.
Sure.
And maybe that changes how you'll deal with these last 41 seconds, although Rodgers will throw, and there's the check down. In this offense, that's almost like a running play. As Marks gets about 8, and will they spend a timeout?
I think you try to get a first down right away. See if you can get a chunk here right now if you're Will Rogers. See if you can get a 15, 20-yard completion, then get into a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, a lot of time coming off the clock, being tackled inbounds, not spending a timeout. There's another to Marks, and now you have to call timeout. Took the clock all the way down to 13 seconds from your own 25-yard line. Unless they're not even going to spend a timeout. If you're not spending a timeout, why are you throwing the football? And that should take us to halftime, although there is a flag down.
I think you're going to get a face mask on LSU defensively.
There's only 1 second on the clock.
Yeah, I agree. If you're just going to let the clock go down and you don't plan on trying to push the tempo, just take a knee and go into halftime. You didn't have to be concerned about LSU and their timeouts because they only have 2. You take 3 knees and the half is over.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. The 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run and includes an automatic first down.
That's fine. You get the 15 yards. You're out to the 44-yard line, and there
Timeout.
is the face mask
Mississippi State.
on Micah Baskerville.
30 seconds.
But they'll call a timeout with the clock stopped with 1 second to go in the half. And Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce and get the committee's attention. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. Well, they'll put a couple of more seconds back on the clock, but for Mississippi State, unless they get another gift penalty from the LSU defense, there's only 1 more play you can run here in the first half. So I don't understand the strategy of putting the ball in harm's way, where maybe a player fumbles, maybe you get a tipped ball, you're throwing the football, even conservatively, and then not using your timeouts. As you said, if you're not going to use your timeouts, just take a knee and make sure you don't risk giving it away on your half of the field.
Yeah, and I don't think that this ball snapped at about the 44 of your own territory. I don't think Will Rogers' arm is strong enough to go push it 60 yards downfield for a Hail Mary opportunity either.
Rogers will step up, and he will go down, and that will end the half. Ali Gay gets a very easy sack, and it will be a 7-3 lead at the break for LSU. LSU will start the third quarter with the football as well. We'll send you to the studio. Matt Barry, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer are standing by. All the highlights and scores are coming up. It's the Lexus Halftime Report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Not a cloud in the sky here in Starkville. And not many points on the scoreboard either. This has been a low-scoring defensive battle. LSU with a couple of takeaways in the first half. The first takeaway of the game set up the game's lone touchdown. Mississippi State had a takeaway as well, but they could manage only a field goal after racking up over 40 points and 623 yards passing in this matchup last year. A whole different performance by the LSU defense, and LSU will start the second half with the ball, and they will start at their own 25-yard line. Bob Wischusen and Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden set for the start of the second half, and last year there were numbers going up offensively like a pinball machine. This year, this is a totally different game between these two teams.
Yeah, you got to tip your hat. They're also losing or missing their All-American Stingley, Andre Anthony. Their heart and soul hasn't played, and a lot of guys have stepped up. They've done a nice job of keeping the ball in front, playing that zone defense, challenging Will Rogers in this Mississippi State offense to kind of be patient with the football, maybe lean on their run game a little bit more. It's been a great plan, and their kids have executed it really well.
Yeah, without arguably the best cover corner in college football, without one of their best pass rushers, and even Ali Gay banged up in practice on Thursday. He's playing, but he's not himself. And they are going to run it on first down. As Ty Davis-Price finds out about 11 and a first down. Chris Budden.
Well, two good teams taking blows is how Coach Leach described this one. He said, I like the fight in our guys and how hard we're playing. We just have to finish drives. For Coach Orgeron, he's been pleased with the way his defense has managed without Stingley, without Andre Anthony. He said they started throwing the ball a little bit more, so they had to keep it in front of him. He said offensively, just comes down to protecting our quarterback.
Great play action fake and a slot. Keyshawn Boutte, he's in the open field. He's going to go the distance for a touchdown. As dangerous a slot receiver as there is in college football. The 21st touchdown pass of Max Johnson's career, and 12 of the 21 have now gone to Keyshawn Boutte.
Now watch Boutte at the bottom of the screen, and then watch the safety, Jalen Green. This is going to be one of those RPOs. Ball fake goes in. The safety respects the run. I'm the filler in it. Boutte replace him. Great job by Max Johnson seeing that safety. It's called a runner's ball, the perfect placement. You're not catching one. That is an outstanding start to the second half for this LSU offense.
So like lightning, Johnson to Boutte for the second time today. And just like that, it's a 2-score lead for LSU.
See, football's not hard, man. Just find your best players. This is a great route. Watch Boutte, left side of the screen. Look at the ball placement by Max Johnson. Right on the face mask. You talk as a quarterback. When you're throwing the ball over the middle of the field, the big thing is putting it on the receiver's face mask. This is a runner's ball. Catch and run. And then Boutte does a great job of just splitting those defenders. He wears number 1 for the great receiver a couple years ago of Jamar Chase. He's their absolute playmaker, and they believe at LSU that he can be as good as the number 5 overall pick last year in Jamar Chase.
Now, talking to Ed Orgeron a couple of days ago, and coaches sometimes are hesitant to compare, right? They like the players sometimes to not necessarily be compared to greats of the past. Coach O did not hesitate.
No doubt.
Said, absolutely, I think that Keyshawn Boutte can be the same ilk of a Jamar Chase. And he said, look, we talk about it all the time. It's not like we shy away from talking with him about it, how good we think he can be.
Well, I think that's part of the tradition of LSU, is you've seen some of the guys, the Patrick Petersons and the Tyrann Matthews. This is the 9th game that these guys have played together. 42 catches, almost 800 yards and 12 touchdowns. They obviously have a spectacular connection. Maybe not the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase one that we saw for that one season, but it's spectacular. I love Butte. I love the game because while he's 6 foot and 190 pounds, he's got a little bit of dog to him on the field. You know, he plays bigger than 6 foot, 190, but then also, and you saw it with that touchdown catch, the ability to just run away from people. So he's the full package. There's no doubt about it.
So now, can a Mississippi State offense that has yet to get in the end zone answer? Down by 11 as we're just beginning the second half.
That was a great throw by Max Johnson as well. I know we're loving on Butte as we should. That was a fantastic throw. The touchdown doesn't happen without it.
Jaden Walley, only a couple of yards. And this has been the theme all day for this LSU defense. They have given plenty of high percentage underneath throws to Mississippi State. But boy, if you're going to pick up 5-7 yards against this defense, you're going to pay the price doing it because they rally to the football and they have hit these Mississippi State receivers.
I kind of used the phrase before, population to the football. Like you said, they've given those completions and they're getting 3 or 4 people to the tackle.
There's another underneath throw, and Walley turns it upfield just inside the hash marks, about a yard shy of the first down. Micah Baskerville made the stop, so it's 3rd down and 1.
I think part of it too, Bob, is LSU, being honest with themselves, believes that in the 3rd and 2 and 3 range, they're the better team. They're more physical, they're more violent, at least defensively, and that's what they want. They want to get them to 3rd and 2 or 3, and they believe that their players will get off.
Trying to widen it is Marks. And he's brought down after he picks up a first down by about a yard. Another ankle tackle for Baskerville. And it looks like Marks is hurt. He is slow to get up, and he is not getting up yet. Dylan Johnson got shook up in the first half. He's able to come back. We'll see if the same will be of Marks. We are back with a look at today's More Driven Moment, brought to you by Goodyear.
Well, they've had no Derek Stingley, but they got Cordell Flott. He's the flat defender. Fall off, see the shallow cross, drive on it. You put your helmet on the ball, pops out, and Damone Clark is right there to go pick it up. That's turnover or takeaway number 1. Now you've got the flat again. Fall, fall, fall. Ball tries to go over your head. Extension for the interception. He has stepped up, and then this defensive line, led by Farrell, has been spectacular, specifically down in the red zone, forcing that field goal early on. Cordell Flott has absolutely shown up and played big ball for this defense.
Jumping in the neutral zone is Mason Smith.
Offside defense, number 0. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That'll make it 1st and 5 for Mississippi State. Down by 11. This is an LSU defense that last season surrendered 44 points and 623 yards through the air. Will Rogers hoists one to the sideline, coming back to help out the quarterback, Makai Polk. And that is good for a first down if the play stands, but there is a flag down on the far side of the field.
Ineligible receiver, downfield offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So it's right back to 1st and 10.
I think 2 things that Mississippi State has got to do outside of running the football in this 3-man front. You've seen all these shallow crosses. You've got to put something behind that shallow cross. A 10, 15-yard in route to force those linebackers up and put it over their heads. And then they got it in this zone defense. Run more RPOs. Put those zone defenders in conflict more.
Another 3-man rush. There's a seam shot, and that's dropped by Jaden Walley. Looked like it was perfectly placed for Will Rogers. A chance for a Mississippi State chunk play, and Walley dropped the ball.
It's a great job by Walley. He's got a crossing route, and Rogers holds him up, purposely throws it behind him away from that zone defender. And one of those super sophomores kind of lets his quarterback down there. Great throw by Will Rogers. three-man front. It's okay if you run the football here. Run the ball, RPO, put something a high-low on these zone defenders.
Second down at 10. Again, only a three-man rush. Rodgers forced to settle for the underneath throw, and there's Johnson. Dillon Johnson about 2 yards shy of the first down.
I don't think you can just feel great about lining up and running the ball unless you get this three-man front. You get to line of scrimmage and it's still a three-man front. LSU doesn't adjust on 3rd and 3. Then yeah, you got to try to run the football in between your left guard and left tackle and Jones and Cross.
Slant, and there's a first down catch on 3rd down and short. Austin Williams again able to move the chains. He picked up 8.
Good job using that motion to get an extra defender out of the box and finding Williams.
Middle screen, Dillon Johnson. He's got a tunnel to run through. Into LSU territory to the Bayou Bengal 34-yard line, picked up 15.
A nice play called there by Mike Leach. Get those zone defenders falling off. You release your offensive line and throw. You just a slip kind of angle or Texas route to Johnson right behind him.
Johnson trying to run wide left, and he runs into a wall of LSU tacklers. Nowhere to go. Cordell Flott came up and joined the party at the football. It'll be second down and long. Maybe gain a yard.
That's one of those plays where I referenced the RPO. LSU was playing downhill, top to bottom. These are the situations where you want to give them that run fake, whether it's an RPO or a play action pass. Get those guys running up towards the ball and try to put the ball over their head. At some point, you're going to have to stress them vertically.
Woody Marks back in the locker room, by the way, for Mississippi State. So Dillon Johnson taking over full-time at tailback. Austin Williams with another catch. Makes it 3rd down and short. 3rd and about 2 after a 7-yard gain. Another tackle for Major Burns. Damone Clark there as well.
And good patience by Will Rogers in this offense right now. Last 3rd down, you had that man coverage. They put Williams in the slot, motioned the defender away, and he won on that inside slant. You got to anticipate zone coverage. Look at the box. Look how light the box is right now. You got 5 offensive linemen really versus 3 defenders to go get 2 yards.
And they'll try and run for 3rd down and 2. Dillon Johnson, extra effort, and he's got it. He's got 5, so it's another Mississippi State first down. Although the Bulldogs have been down here before, and when the field condenses a bit and they get in the red zone, this defense becomes even stingier. Will Rogers all day to throw. No one to throw to. Now he squeezes one to the sideline, and a catch made by Mekhi Polk at the 15-yard line. He's got 6.
Watch Polk just on the sideline right there. The SEC's leading receiver, only his 3rd catch today. Good job getting his feet in. The big thing right now is patience. LSU has been 3-man front this whole drive. Now they got more bigs in, 4-man front. Feel about the pass game here. Patience in these one-on-one matchups.
Rodgers out of bounds. Crowd looking for a flag. Mekhi Polk tied up by Eli Ricks. And that looked to be terrific coverage by the sophomore.
Now, this is a great coverage by Eli Ricks, who's a stud. Just watch him use the sideline as his help. Polk goes up, that punch. He basically runs him out of bounds. That is just perfect man coverage right there. Look at that angle. That's a beautiful angle of him just using that right hand to run him out of bounds.
Eli Ricks has been driven by his parents to the best teachers that they could find for football in California since he was 10 years old. He has been training for this his whole life. Timing pattern to the back left corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Just off the fingertips of Malik Heath.
That's one you want back. He's one-on-one with the whole field to work with if you're Will Rogers. He gets man coverage. It's a beautiful throw. Throw it up with some touch. Just a little too much extension by Heath. That ball is about 1.5 yards out of bounds. This one, you just, as a quarterback, you just want to give your guy the chance to go make that play.
I think the crowd wanted Mike Leach to go for it. There seemed to be some hesitation for a moment, but 4th and 4, medium range field goal for Nolan McCord of 33 yards. This would make it a one-possession game again if he can knock it through. So you have to think this is the percentage play. And he is not able to put it through. Pulls it to the left. Oh, what a frustrating outcome to the drive for Mississippi State. A missed field goal. They come away empty after another double-digit play drive.
ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, is brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Order today for contactless delivery, carryout, or curbside pickup.
That is the royal treatment right there. Mississippi State down 14-3. Has not been much for the Bulldogs to bark about today as this LSU defense, Dan, all day long. It has been bend, but don't break. Ed Orgeron's team keep it in front of us, give them the underneath stuff, and just bet that at some point a drive that goes 12, 13, 14 plays like the last one did will short circuit. Armani Goodwin starts this drive for LSU with a 9.5-yard run. Mississippi State has held the ball for 9 minutes longer than LSU in this game, and yet they've only got 3 points to show for it.
Think about it. The forced fumble, the interception, the missed field goal. You know, the interception's right on fringe red zone area. The forced fumble is first drive of the game, right around the 40-yard line, 35. So you're entering an area of potentially getting points, and then the missed field goal. So yeah, it's been that very much so bend, but don't break. We're not going to give the game away, and that was one of the keys that we talked about going into the game for LSU defensively. They've done it.
Corey Kiner bounces out of the pile, uses a stiff arm, and boy, does he pay the price. And he might be hurt. I'm not sure why he left his feet, but that was a bad decision. And he is shaken up on the Mississippi State bench. Fred Peters, Colin Duncan were there to stretch him out and deliver the blow. This was a violent collision once Kiner jumped when he got to the sideline.
It's a great job by Kiner getting away from stuff. Watch 19 Duncan come in here. Duncan and Fred Peters. It's a clean football play to me. You know, Kiner just jumped and Peters made sure that he finished it.
He did pick up the first down though. Max Johnson off play action. Finds Armani Goodwin in the right flat. And he picks up about 3. Immediately corralled by Buki Watson.
Can we talk about this LSU offensive line a little bit? You know, it's become a program offensively that wants to be so good throwing the football, and they are. But they've also, I feel, have lost at least the tenacity to run the ball. And they're always pass blocking. They don't have the chance to fire off and try to go impact or harm the defensive line, so to speak. And I think it's hurting them a little bit. They're so pass heavy.
Got 53 yards rushing today, and they're only averaging about 86 yards per game. Off his back foot, long throw is there. Jared Jenkins hauls it in from Max Johnson. Good enough for a first down.
One of the things that I love about Max Johnson's game, watch just the subtlety in the movement. Ball starts on the hash, feels pressure, just move. See that 3 or 4 yards that he drifts away and gives the opportunity to get that ball to Jenkins' hands? He's not going to be this electric athlete, but just the subtlety of the pocket movement. Know where the defense is and where they may not be. That pays dividends for a guy like Max Johnson, and I love that aspect of his game.
Hand off to Davis Price, and he's brought down behind the line. Jet Johnson with a tackle for loss.
Jet Johnson's a good player. You hear him talk. He talked about 5 P's. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. I have a different one where there's a 6, but I love that about him because it kind of embodies the type of player he is. He's always going to be ready for the situations. He knows exactly where to line up. He knows exactly what the offense is trying to get done, and his preparation shows off on Saturdays.
comes the rush. Johnson beats it to the outside. Jeray Jenkins again on a comeback. Only a couple of yards, though. Picked up maybe about 5. So that will make it 3rd down and 7 near midfield. Emmanuel Forbes, another tackle.
All right, so this situation is huge. Communicate to your offensive line. Try to get the information of what the pressure is going to be. I'm starting with Kayshon Boutte in my progression. No, I'm not. He's on the sideline.
Only a 3-man rush on 3rd and 7. Johnson extending the play. He may see an alley to run. He pays the price and comes up about 2-yard shot. So it will be 4th and 2. And the punt group starts to form up on the LSU sideline. Jack Harris, Rodney Gross were there to combine on the tackle. Although for LSU, the way they have played defense so far today, that drive is a good drive. It ends with a kick, a chance to control field position and make Mississippi State again have to deal with the long field against their defense.
100%. Right now as an offense, one of the key things is to not give the football away. And so I don't mind the scramble and tuck of the football there. That being said, spectacular job by Mississippi State defensively to plaster those receivers.
Although Avery Atkins puts it into the end zone. So it will be the 20-yard line for Mississippi State when we come back. Time now for today's Weekend Wake Up, brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Some interesting 3:30 games coming up. That struggling Clemson offense on the road at NC State follows us here on ESPN. Then it leads up to Saturday Night Football on ABC. West Virginia and Jared Dagey take on Spencer Rattler and number 4 Oklahoma. 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. One app, one tap for all the games. Back to the offense, Mississippi State. And Woody Marks, shaking off a shoulder injury, is back on the field, and they might need him as Rodgers able to dodge a sack and dive forward for a yard. Ali Gay was there. And Chris Button, how about the health or lack thereof of these Mississippi State running backs?
Yeah, so Marks, who we saw run into the locker room, came out. He was showing some discomfort in his right shoulder, but also Dylan Johnson, who's not out there right now, having some issues with his right ankle.
That throw batted around and almost caught on the carom. Not only did Jameer Calvin have a chance at it once, he had a chance at it a second time. Dwight McLaughlin almost with an LSU interception.
They're just trying to get the seam down the left side of the field to Calvin. Baskerville almost picks that ball off, popping up all over the place. That's just an impossible throw. You can see it's tipped by Baskerville. Mike Leach knows a lot more about football than me. They're playing a 3-man front on 1st and 2nd down. It's not throw time.
And that short hop throw from Rodgers with a 4-man rush coming. Heat from the pass rush of LSU forces a wobbly throw as Jaquelin Roy was in the backfield. And just like that, it's a 3-and-out for Mississippi State.
I talked about this in the first half. The discipline to understand you're only getting a 3-man front. You've got 5 offensive linemen. You've got to be willing to run the football on 1st and 2nd down because you're not forcing LSU out of it. LSU, you're playing right into their hands. And then they get into these 3rd down situations and there's the 4-man rush and you're not good enough to protect against it. Like I said, Leach is unbelievable, but the ability to just turn around and hand the ball off when the defense is daring you to do it has to be a part of your game.
Caught on the dead run by Trey Palmer. Great field position for LSU after the first 3-and-out for either team.
Yeah, started really with the connection of Max Johnson to Boutte. Pressure off the left side, quarterback, that safety's unblocked. Swipe the ball across your chest and know that Boutte's scraping across the front of the end zone. Beautiful. Now let's start the second half in that RPO. Peek that safety, he drives down. Let's replace him with that special player. Boutte cross face to that corner, and there goes the perfect throw. Touchdown LSU. So that connection between quarterback and receiver. 1, I'm going to trust him to get open if I win, and then 2, he's going to be exactly where I expect him to be in the route.
Kayshon Boutte was on the sideline for the last possession, taking a breather. Back out there now. 14-3. LSU has the lead. And starting at their own 42-yard line. This feels like a pivotal moment for this Mississippi State defense. Max Johnson, well protected. He's going to go deep, and it's a blown coverage. Trey Palmer walks into the end zone. Touchdown. The Mississippi State secondary completely lost track of Trey Palmer. He was all alone behind the defense, and Max Johnson saw him. Just as we're talking about how important with great field position for LSU that stand needed to be for the Mississippi State defense, Max Johnson goes downtown.
This is a great job formationally. They condense the splits of the receivers. That's going to give it leverage for the receiver. The corner has to play outside. You're going to get number 12 in the middle of the field, right at the bottom of the M. Sean Preston's going to drop back. You're going to get a big post. He watches the crosser Deion Smith come. That leverage that you create by your formation for Trey Palmer. Touchdown LSU. Watch 12 in the middle of the field. His vision becomes on Deion Smith, and that's an easy throw for Max Johnson. Watch Max Johnson just read Sean Preston. You drop back. Okay, you're seeing Deion Smith. You settle your feet. Now I could put this ball up over your head, and Trey Palmer has a free release off the line of scrimmage. So that's an outstanding job by the offensive coordinator for LSU, Jake Peetz. Setting the formation. They put Cole Taylor, the tight end, out. They motioned him in. He knew it was going to get zone. I'll take Deion Smith to cross the field. All I need is one safety to have bad vision. You got to trust your quarterback to push the ball down the field.
And Max Johnson just keeps on putting up 3+ passing touchdown games. He's 5 for 5 for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns this quarter. And both of the touchdowns, big play scores.
Yeah, and one of the things that they talked about when sitting down and talking with Coach Peetz was how his retention is so great. And that's one of those plays where the retention, you could build stuff on. Hey, this is exactly the look that we're trying to get. You got to trust that he knows why you're calling it, and I think it shows up there for LSU.
Let's head back to Matt.
All right, guys, checking in on Wisconsin and Notre Dame. No offense to speak of early for Bucky, but then Graham Mertz finds Kendrick Pryor for the touchdown. First touchdown of the game for Wisconsin. That was big because at the start of the third quarter, it would tie it at 10 apiece. And Boston College having their way with Missouri out there, ESPN2, just about the end of the third quarter. 27-17, ACC getting one right now over the SEC.
Would that be the undefeated Boston College Eagles so far?
Dude.
About to thunder their way to a 4-0 start. Thank you. Will Rogers back to throw. Steps up in the pocket. Over the middle. Just about forced one into too tight a window. Again, playing that deep middle was Damone Clark. He tried to find open grass for Mekhi Polk, but that was a dangerous throw.
And this is what we've talked about. Quarterbacks just get impatient. I don't want to throw the 4-yard shallow cross for the 20th time today because I want to throw that ball, and that's how you lead to mistakes. These turnovers, not successful in the red zone. That's how these mistakes kind of compound themselves.
Here's Dylan Johnson trying to shake off the ankle injury, and looks pretty good. Lasts for 12 and a first down.
No, you don't say. 3-man front, run the football. You know, there is an aspect to this game, and Mike Leach talks about balance, and he doesn't believe it's 50-50 run and throw because he says one of those options, you don't use all of your players in all of the field. But listen, in some conferences, it's needed. Coach O knows it. You see the emotion on his face. Some conferences, and this is one of them, you got to run the football a little bit when the defense is challenging you to do it.
Quick toss to Johnson. Breaks a tackle, and he's got 9 more. Well, Mike Leach as a head coach has either equaled or in the record books has the biggest comeback in the history of all 3 teams he has coached.
Okay.
So right now, down 21-3.
You setting the table here?
He authored the biggest comeback of all time in Texas Tech history, down by 31 back in the 2006 Insight Bowl. A 21-point comeback in the fourth quarter at Washington State as they toss one to Marks. And even this year, And this Mississippi State team was down 20 to Louisiana Tech in the opener and came back and won a thriller 35-34. So they have a belief on their sideline, and Mike Leach certainly has a belief as a head coach that he can author a comeback. There's still a lot of time on the clock. We're still in the third quarter, but at some point, one of these drives has to find the end zone.
And they've done a good job moving the football for the most part. They've just gotten impatient when they can't get impatient, and that's the thing for Mike Leach in this offense right now is you're going to have to trust this young player, Will Rogers, to make the right decisions with the football and not get consumed by what the situation of the game is with the clock.
Only a three-man rush. Long throw to the sideline, drops it in. Did Christian Ford drag a foot? The officials get together. It looks like they give him the catch.
That's a great throw by Will Rogers up over the top. Watch Ford secure that catch, and I think that right foot gets down right at that moment of catch. It's a beautiful throw with touch by Will Rogers.
I don't know. They may look at this one.
It's a completed catch for a first down. The previous play is under further review.
I think the replay booth wasn't so sure about the right foot. Maybe the left foot hit first, and if the left foot hit first, was the toe on the sideline.
Right foot, left two.
Let's take another look.
What's the right foot? Right. I think his right foot is down right there.
It looks to me like the left toe is on the sideline. So the question is that right foot still dragging? Now, again, they ruled this a catch on the field. So we have to find a replay that shows indisputably that that right foot is off the ground, I guess, to say that he didn't drag the trail foot before the left foot hit the sideline. Right there, obviously that toe looks to be on the sideline.
I think a big part of it too is, does he have the ball
Absolutely.
when that right foot is down? You know, that's obvious to me that the left foot is out, but does he have the football when that right foot, at least look right there, is that right foot down? He looks like he's got the ball. See that look right there makes me think that Ford's right foot was off the ground right at the moment of catch.
And if that's the case, this should be an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's not the angle for me that I'm questioning. That left foot down, I already agree that one's out. It's really the right foot that happens the segment before.
I think you nailed it. I think the question here for the replay booth is, can you make the case, with the call on the field being a catch,
right,
that his right foot is still on the ground when he secures the football before the left foot goes out? It's very close, but I think you're right as well. I think his right foot was barely coming up off the turf.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably turn this over and make it an incomplete pass.
And that's one that you wish that, you know, that Ford had just dragged both feet. You know, because you don't know exactly which one is going to get down. You really want to try to do everything you can to just drag both those feet and not have that little jump. Just a little bump jump by Ford right there gets that right foot off the ground. Big thing too right now is,
after review, the ruling is an incomplete pass. The receiver's foot was out of bounds when he touched the ball. It will be second down at the 47-yard line. Thank you.
And I think we both agree they got that one right.
Yeah, I think that final reverse angle shows that right foot just drift off the ground at the point of the catch. And I was saying the big thing really in that moment is both teams, you really want to prepare for either situation. Mississippi State's got to be ready for 2nd and 10 from their own 47, and the same with LSU defensively. What is our call if we don't get this, if this catch gets overturned?
So that's now 6 straight incompletions for Will Rogers, trying to break that string. Thought about the check down, instead going to the same spot on the field and puts it into Malik Heath. Same spot, same throw, different result. First down, Mississippi State.
Yeah, Heath really starts left side of the formation. Watch him just cross. He's going to come from the top of the screen. Just hold up. Now he's got a cross ball in front of Ricks right there. The ball's perfectly thrown by Will Rogers. He takes that shot. Special catch by Heath, and the ability to run all the way across the field on that deep crossing route.
Down to the final minute of the third quarter. Delayed shovel pass, Dylan Johnson. Looked like it might have been a face masking call that could have been made as Terrell Cherry brings him down. Chris?
Yeah, real quick, Ali Gay, defensive end for Louisiana State, not in there right now because he has been out dealing with an injury.
And Andre Anthony already lost for the season with a knee injury from last week. So B.J. Ojulari, very dangerous pass rusher, but that's two of the best three pass rushers that LSU has out of the game. Wide open at the goal line. The poke got loose. Rogers puts it on him. And finally, Mississippi State's got a touchdown.
Some of the throws by Will Rogers on that drive. Some beautiful touch throws. The ball to Ford that doesn't get caught. The ball to Heath right in front of Ricks.
Olin McCord able to get the extra point through, and it's back to an 11-point game.
Yeah, Polk at the bottom of the screen. He's going to switch release, stem inside, and really split the hash in the numbers. Get on top of that linebacker, push vertical, hold the free safety in cover three. And just a beautiful touch throw by Rogers. Watch his eyes. Move the pole. Watch the eyes. He peeks left for a second, and then that ball just has to get up over that trailing defender, Baskerville. That switch release, that's how you get your #1 receiver running a seam route on a linebacker. You put him outside, he stems inside, and the speed down the field scores for Mississippi State. It's a good job by Will Rogers. I wish everyone could have seen it just a little bit better. That field goal pole was there, but you got a safety in the middle of the field, right? It's basically in between the hashes. He holds them, creates a little bit of a bigger window.
Will Rogers has racked up more yards. Of course, he has doubled better than the attempts of Max Johnson, but Johnson with two big play touchdown passes in the third quarter. A reason why LSU still has a 2-score lead, but now some momentum back towards Mississippi State. Could be an interesting fourth quarter. Short kick and a fair catch is going to be called. So that will bring it out to the 25-yard line for LSU with 26 seconds to go in the third quarter. And you wonder what a touchdown finally does for a Mississippi State defense that now might feel as if they are a stop away from really getting back in this game potentially.
Well, Max Johnson has come out in the second half and pushed the ball downfield. One big bomb touchdown to Palmer. Obviously the wrap in to Boutte. It's a really good start to his young career here.
And you can see it's been a while since an LSU quarterback back to 2016 and Danny Etling putting together a couple of big play touchdowns, the likes of which Max Johnson had in the third quarter. Toss to Goodwin. Boy, this is where you would love to have a run game to lean on, and LSU right now just doesn't have it.
This Mississippi State defense and their multiple front and the way they move, but also the physicality. That was a big thing for LSU. Handle the physicality for Mississippi State defensively. Right now, at least in the run game up front, they cannot. And if you're Mississippi State defensively, you feel good about that going into the fourth quarter.
And that is where we will go, to the fourth quarter, with LSU on top by 11 here in Starkville. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Set for the start of the fourth quarter. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. Home of the National Baseball Champions. And Mississippi State's football team breathing a little life back into their matchup with LSU. LSU to the offense, though, to start the fourth quarter, faced with 2nd down and 10. Just after Mississippi State scored their first offensive touchdown of the game. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky and Chris Button. Play action, screen, Boutte. Gets a block. Very close to a first down. It looks like he's a yard short. Jalen Green, part of the group that brought him down. So a big 3rd and 1 to open up the 4th quarter for LSU. And for a team, Dan, that has a hard time running the football right now.
Yeah, first quarter, quarterback sneak got stuffed, and they spread it out on 4th down, motion, and ran a dive. And I think you got to do something. Give the second level, the linebackers of this Mississippi State defense, something to look at to try to get one guy out of their gap. Expect a slant by this defensive line.
Ty Davis-Price to the left of Johnson. They'll give it to Davis-Price. Very close to a first down. While the line judge from the near side is running right along the line to gain. It all depends on the spot. And it looks like he's got it. It is a first down for LSU. Just did get enough.
Man, that's a nice job by Davis-Price. Just really putting his head down and trying to go get 2 feet. I also want to mention, I'm a little disappointed. Starkville, home of the cowbell, going into the 4th quarter, the fact that they don't play For Whom the Bell Tolls as the 4th quarter song is disappointing.
Hell's Bells?
Another great one. Okay. Multiple options.
Well, they can ask us for suggestions, I'm sure. Davis-Price again to the short side of the field. 1.5 yards, maybe 2. Again, the pursuit from Jet Johnson. And we have an injured player, and that is going to be a right tackle, Austin Deculus. So a banged up offensive line with a crucial injury potentially.
And college football is presented by Marathon, driven forward.
Back in Stark Vegas, LSU. They're going to have to roll the dice with their offensive line because Austin Deculus is over on the sideline, injured on that last play. They're already without their normal starting left tackle, Cameron Wire. He was injured in the opener, so we've got backups at both tackle spots for LSU. And after the injury timeout, 2nd down and 8. Max Johnson, well protected over the middle, incomplete for Deion Smith. So how, Dan, as a play caller, now facing 3rd down, is your Jake Peets, your strategy and philosophy affected with this banged up and inexperienced offensive line?
Don't ask those offensive linemen, specifically the tackles, to do something that they can't. Specifically the right side, Anthony Bradford, 75, just comes in after standing around for 3 quarters. So help them. Hey, tailback, chip. Cole Taylor, chip your tight end, put a tight end next to him to make sure that you got bodies, and also you're calling a play that gets the ball out of Max Johnson's hands quickly.
Mississippi State showing blitz.
And it's really off the right side of the offense, off Bradford's side. You could try to pop a run away from it, try to screen away from it, something.
Max Johnson sees it, and now Mississippi State changes, and now a timeout has to be called by LSU from their sideline.
First yard timeout of the half, LSU.
That was actually really cool because LSU changes, Mississippi State changes. They got to get out, call timeout as the right play.
Matt Barry in our college football studios with an update. Here comes Mizzou down 10. Connor Bazelak to Toski Dove on a long 3rd and 8. That kept the drive going, and then he hits Michael Cox for the touchdown. Hang on, Bob Shoes, and this one's not over yet. 27-24, early 4th quarter.
That was not the update I was looking for. Lots of football still to come, and that last time out for LSU, Dan, you sensed that one was coming.
Yeah, we're right next to the LSU coaches in the press box. They changed their play at the line of scrimmage to what Mississippi State's showing, and Mississippi State starts to check, and Jake Peets, the offensive coordinator, who's right next to me, I can feel him stand up and be like, timeout, 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 timeout. So he realized that was an important timeout. You know, 3rd down, Mississippi State is this blitz-heavy team. They haven't done it a lot. I think LSU's got to try to get the ball to the perimeter of the defense. Hold up in protection. Don't think you're going to get overload pressure and get the ball outside.
Linebackers at least showing that they might bring pressure, but they back out, rush only 4. Johnson, long wobbly throw to the sideline, incomplete for Brian Thomas. Mississippi State scored a touchdown on their last possession, and now they're about to get the ball back. Early fourth quarter.
There's 13 again, Forbes. Thomas is running that hook route. Max Johnson really wants him to come out of his cut and towards the sideline. Somewhat of a safe throw right there versus that tight coverage. That's the right place you got to go. It's just Forbes is really good in coverage.
Avery Atkins gets away a spiraling kick. Flag out. He gets it to the sideline. Austin Williams nowhere to go. Out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. But there is a flag back in the backfield where Avery Atkins punted the ball.
Personal foul, leaping the shield, number 54 of the defense. This is a 15-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot with an automatic first down.
Absolute killer penalty for Mississippi State. It's like a turnover.
Watch Gross right here. The redshirt freshman from Alabama. You are not allowed to leap over those LSU blockers in that punt formation. You're not allowed to leave your feet and try to jump over them. That is a safety rule. That's a huge penalty.
It doesn't go down in the box score as a turnover. That's a turnover.
100%, great point.
It is the same as fumbling the ball or throwing an interception. You give LSU the ball back in plus territory when that possession was about to come to an end. And Malik Neighbors on the wide receiver screen picks up 4.
And the focus for LSU right now has got to be, you just got a gift offensively. You have to go take advantage of it. Mississippi State's defense did a great job. Gross playing aggressive on that punt. But if you're an offense right now, Max Johnson, you got to go take advantage of that gift and try to end this football game.
And Austin Deculus back on the field at right tackle. So LSU gets one of their starting offensive linemen back. They'll run it up the middle with Ty Davis-Price. He'll pick up a couple, so now it's going to be 3rd down and about 3. Aaron Brule, another tackle for the Bulldogs.
And I'll be honest with you, I would love to see LSU get their playmaker, Kayshon Boutte, away from Emerson Forbes. I don't want him singled up at the top of the screen by himself. I'd like to see him move Boutte. If not, I want to find 80. Jack Besh, my freshman wide receiver tight end. See, I don't like the fact that they got Boutte singled up by himself.
And it is Emmanuel Forbes, top of the screen, you can see, squaring off with Boutte. Back foot throw, and the crosser is there, it's Cole Taylor, and he's got a clear lane to the end zone. The tight end scores. What a response by LSU as they take advantage of the penalty on special teams.
It's very similar to the touchdown to Boutte before. That's Cole Taylor. You get all-out pressure, cross-face with that defender. Max Johnson drift a little bit, put your back foot in the ground, and get the ball out. That's a great route by Cole Taylor. It's the exact same thought process of the Kayshon Boutte first quarter touchdown. You get all-out blitz from the defense. Quarterback just hang on for a little bit. Receiver cross that defender's face and throw him to a spot. And I think that's Forbes down.
Emmanuel Forbes and Fred Peters both ran into each other. I mean, blindside full speed for Mississippi State in their secondary. Almost a pick play, self-inflicted, that freed up Cole Taylor. Emmanuel Forbes still down. Friendly fire on the collision with Fred Peters. Those two running into each other caused the touchdown for Cole Taylor, but we're not sure Cole Taylor should have caught that football.
Yeah, I think so. This is Kayshon Boutte at the top of the screen. He's going to run this in route. It's great coverage by Emmanuel Forbes. And Max Johnson, it looks like, wow, what a great touchdown pass from him to Cole Taylor. Now, when you see it from the back angle, look at Max Johnson's eyes. He's going to be staring to the right side of your screen. He's expecting to throw this ball to Boutte. He is not looking at Cole Taylor. That throw is to Boutte. He's just living right. Cole Taylor, right place, right time. You should not have two receivers crossing in the same section, but watch, this ball is going to get picked off by Emerson Forbes, if not for Cole Taylor being there in the collision with Fred Peters. But I am convinced that Max Johnson is actually trying to throw that football to Keyshawn Boutte, and Cole Taylor is just right place, right time situation.
And Fred Peters and Emmanuel Forbes both off the field with apparent head injuries. Forbes, it took so long to get him to even sit up. They're going to take him back to the locker room on the cart. And all of his teammates going over and making sure, at least as best they can, that he's okay. By the way, it is Saturday. Time to represent your school. Show us how big you're going today. Submit your best fan video this weekend to #ShowYourSaturday. You might just get your 15 seconds of fan fame. Boy, did this game change with the snap of a finger. Possibly an inadvertent touchdown pass thrown by Max Johnson to Cole Taylor. I'm sure Max Johnson's over there going, I meant to throw it to Cole Taylor the whole time.
He hates me right now.
You've got the best cover corner probably for either team that we've seen today. Emmanuel Forbes with a head injury heading back into the locker room for Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs find themselves down by 17 again.
Yeah, you feel terrible for Emmanuel Forbes for the injury, first of all, but also I think he's making a play on the ball that could be a game changer, so to speak. I think he's going to pick that ball off, if not for Cole Taylor running in and catching that little over route.
And the lead back up to 18 for LSU. And time now for our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. Who holds the SEC record for most passing yards in a game?
Oh, I got this.
You should have it if you did any research for today's game.
It's the guy that Max Johnson actually reminds me of.
Okay.
I'm going to wait for the back end answer.
Okay.
I'll give it to you now. I think Max Johnson reminds me of a more athletic David Green. Remember David Green, University of Georgia? I believe when he graduated or left school, he was the all-time leading passer in yards when he left school. That record has since been broken. Maybe it's a lefty thing, but he reminds me of David Green, and I think it's David Green.
We'll see if you're right.
Come on.
We'll see if you're right. I'm not going to show you right away. I'm going to make you sweat it out a little bit. As Avery Atkins will kick it off once again. He has not given Tulu Griffin a chance to bring one back yet today. And once again, Tulu will watch that one sail to the back of the end zone. How about the answer to our Aflac trivia question? Aflac. You're right. Who holds the SEC record for most passing yards in a game? As I told you, if you did your research for today's game, then you would have known the answer to this question. Last year, KJ Costello for Mississippi State against LSU.
I just really wanted to get my David Green comp in.
Good job. There's a bomb, and it's incomplete. Intended on the bomb by Will Rogers for Malik Heath. And what a difference a year makes. This LSU defense, bend but don't break perfection for the most part today.
Yeah, part of it was last year. It was strictly man coverage, and they had guys running from one side of the field to the other all the time and bad communication. But to your point, Bob, it's been a really disciplined approach. We came into this game talking about this defense, saying if you put your eyes in the right place and when you're in zone, you're in the right position, you got a chance to be good. And I think we've seen that for the better part of 3.5 quarters.
Rogers to Marks. Gain of 9. Well, actually, they'll mark him down after a gain of 8. Damone Clark made the stop. So it's 3rd down and 2, Chris.
An interesting moment with Will Rogers on the sideline. He had a long conversation with Leach, then went to the very end of the field to gather himself for a moment, but rallied his troops saying, we got this, guys, before they ran out here.
Well, they do have a lot of time, but now just about no margin for error as Christian Ford makes the stop. Makes the catch. Dan, I'm not sure if they can have another points-free possession. Will they have enough time to get the ball more than 3 more times with 10 minutes and 45 seconds to go?
Absolutely not. And this is the challenge. He still has to stay patient with the football. You know you're going to have to take some chances and put it into harm's way at some point, but you're going to have to stay patient and gather your completions on early downs.
Rodgers over the middle once again to Marks, and he spins for a first down.
For Will Rogers right now, it is, and I just mentioned, getting your completions. LSU at some point, you got to anticipate them coming up and playing press man coverage. When that happens, you have to hit your shot. Maybe it's not towards Eli Ricks, but maybe it's towards Dwight McGlothern. That's replacing Derek Stingley.
Draw play. Marks picks up about 4. Now, if you're LSU, why would you at some point play press man coverage? You've got a 3-score lead with 10 minutes to go. Why would you not be content to keep on doing what you're doing? And that is, I will give you whatever you want underneath and in front of me, and I will just have my teammates and I rally and make tackles and exchange yardage for time.
Eventually, you want to attack as a defense. It's always the case. They'll give you an opportunity at some point.
We have an injury timeout, so we'll step aside for just a moment. Under 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Matt Berry in our college football studios with a Notre Dame-Wisconsin update. Wisconsin just hit the field goal. They played jump around in Soldier Field. And then Chris Tyree says, you know what, pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. 97-yard kickoff return, the first allowed from Wisconsin in almost 10 years.
Well, Matt, back here in Starkville, and on 2nd down and medium, Mekhi Polk drags across the middle and makes a 4-yard catch. So with Scott Lashley, the right tackle, with an apparent right leg injury over on the sideline for Mississippi State, their offensive line thinned out a bit, and they're trying to keep the game alive. Under 9.5 minutes to go, down by 18, 3rd down. Rodgers, screen pass, caught. Mekhi Polk gets loose. Polk into the secondary, down close to the 20-yard line. Brought down at about the 22, a gain of 17.
It's an outstanding job by Christian Ford on the block. Polk press up, come flat down the line of scrimmage, runner's ball, and run away from those defenders across the field. Beautiful execution of the perimeter screen.
6th catch of the day for Polk. He averages over 8 receptions per game, top 5 in college football. Hand off to Marks, up the middle. He keeps driving his legs into the red zone, down inside the 15-yard line. That's 8 more for Mississippi State. Another tackle for Damone Clark.
The situation for this offense, LSU's giving you 2 high safeties still, kind of this cover 2, cover 4, where they're taking half the field. You really want to put a safety in stress. Is there a way to send 2 people up a seam, give Will Rogers an inside-out read?
Rodgers looking inside, and he'll throw one over the middle, and that's caught again by Mekhi Polk. First down to the 5-yard line. Goal to go for Mississippi State. 9 more yards.
Nice job. They sent 2 guys down the left hash, replace him with Polk. He's got a shallow cross, sits in the zone. Rodgers sees it the same way.
Off to Marks inside the 5, tripped up at about the 3.5-yard line. It's a 3-score game. Clock winding down with 7:45 to go. So if you're Mississippi State, you want to get the ball in the end zone and get the right play called, but there's a lot of time ticking off the clock here. That could be valuable later.
Situation where you'd love a little ball fake. Just get a second-level linebacker to hang for a second and try to put it over his head.
Rodgers, swing pass. Marks looking for the front right pylon. Reaches the ball out. And did not get there. It will be 3rd down and goal from the 2. Another tackle for Major Burns.
It's a really good job by Major Burns. Just a little good block by Polk, and then watch Burns come through the screen. Yeah, right there to get him out about the 2-yard line. I still think a little ball fake. This LSU defense is flying to the football so much. Just a little flash fake to get him to step up, and maybe you can throw something towards the crossbar.
Down to 7 minutes to go. Slant at the goal line. Williams backs his way in for the touchdown. Second effort. And Austin Williams gets it across. 6:48 remaining. Mississippi State makes it a 2-possession game again.
Another good drive by Mississippi State's offense. It's a great job by Williams in getting in. Back to the defense, strong legs. It's a really nice job finding the end zone. He's been a reliable receiver today, really reliable in the middle of the field.
Nolan McCord's extra point is good. 6:48 remaining. The lead back down to 11. LSU. Chris Buck trying to hold on for an SEC opening win on the road, but they're playing with heavy hearts today.
Yeah, it's been a difficult 2 weeks for the LSU Tigers because running backs coach Kevin Falk, his daughter Kavion Falk, passed away unexpectedly on September 13th. They held the funeral yesterday in Lafayette, Louisiana. The running backs all went. The coaching staff, the leadership council, all attended the funeral yesterday. In their game last week, they had decals on the helmet with her initials. So heavy hearts this LSU team is playing with in memory of Kavion Falk.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Falk family. It's a lot for a program, a lot for the kids and the coaches to kind of take on.
Every good thought and prayer, as you said, to Kevin Falk and his family.
One of those things, you know, it's a family, your teammates and your coaches, but it very much so is a family. And when one hurts, kind of you all hurt.
LSU is now guarding against the onside kick with 6:48 to go, a 2-possession game. And Mississippi State has their timeouts. They've got Josh Williams back at about the 20-yard line, but the other 10 players for LSU, the hands team, up, expecting that this kick would not go deep. You have to think, though, that with 6:48 on the clock, the percentage play is still to kick this thing deep. Although, I guess better safe than sorry with a flag down. A delay of game called on Mississippi State. They'll have to back up and kick it from their 30-yard line now.
Delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty.
One of the things that I've always thought about with the new rule in college football with the fair catch and it becomes a touchback is the smart thing for LSU to do is protect against the onside kick, because you're likely telling your kids, hey, kick off inside the 5-yard line. We're fair catching it anyway, so you're protecting against the bad, and your end result return-wise is likely going to be the same as it would have been.
Goodman will send it deep. And there is your fair catch by Josh Williams. Well, big play touchdowns for LSU has been the story here in the second half. 3 of them for Max Johnson.
It started early on with the RPO fake. He reads the safety. Keyshawn Boutte, your job, cross face to the corner and then replace that leaving safety. Beautiful ball by Max Johnson equals an early touchdown. Then we condense our formation. We're going to send our receiver crossing safety, jumps down. Bad vision by the Mississippi State secondary. Put the ball over the top with the leverage we've created. And then 3rd down, all-out pressure. Live a little right. That ball is expected to go to Keyshawn Boutte. Cole Taylor, right place, right time for this LSU offense. But it has been the big play through the air that has generated so much success. Look at that second half. 10 completions, 3 touchdowns, almost 200 yards for Max Johnson.
Up the middle goes Ty Davis-Price, as all 3 of those second half touchdown passes for Max Johnson have been at least 41 yards or more.
Big plays. big plays. You know, the RPO I loved. One of my notes at halftime was both teams got to run more RPOs, so I loved that. And then the schemed up touchdown to Palmer was great.
5 yards right up the middle for Ty Davis-Price on first down against a Mississippi State defense you have to think right now needs to sell out to stop the run.
Well, they're a defense that is predicated on early down pressure, first and second down pressure and movement. So you want to continue to rely on who you are and challenge this LSU offensive line to pick you up.
Johnson took the play clock down to 4 before handing it off to Davis-Price again. And this time he's going nowhere. Wrapped up and thrown back. Jack Harris was there.
And there it is.
State, a loss of 1. And now it looks like Mike Leach is going to call his first timeout.
First card timeout, second half, Mississippi State.
Well, they have to get the ball back twice. Down by 11 with under 6 minutes to go. And rather than let 40 more seconds come off the clock here, timeout number 1 used by Mike Leach. Again, as soon as we're done here on ESPN, to the ACC next we go. North Carolina State takes on Clemson in Raleigh, so it's a road test for Clemson after we watched them last week at home struggle. I mean, from opening kickoff to final gun to put points on the board.
You know where I am with Clemson's offense. Yeah, they're talented on the perimeter with their big receivers, and DJ Uiagalelei is an incredibly talented quarterback. I love their offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott. The scheme is too far behind in the college football times. They don't use enough motion. They don't condense splits enough. They don't utilize progression-based drop-back football. DJ's too inconsistent. Their offensive line gets beat at the line of scrimmage way too often.
Big 3rd down and 6 here. Are you throwing the ball if you're LSU?
I am. I'm throwing the ball. I'm not anticipating crazy pressure. The last time Mississippi State brought it, we hurt them. I'm thinking 3 or 4 man rush. Again, ball's got to get to the perimeter. I'm testing the corner at the bottom of the screen.
Here comes the blitz. There's the throw. Bobbled. Caught on the carom. It looks like it was by Besh, but short of the first down. And now they say incomplete.
No way, right?
It looked as if there was a chance he kept the ball off the turf. At the very least, it would take a lot of time off the clock if this is ruled to be a completion. Did he get his hand under the football and make a spectacular catch? They rule it an incompletion on the field.
On the field is an incomplete pass. Previous play is under further review.
At the very least, it is a tremendous effort. It looked like the ball had that look of bouncing off the field, but did he get his right hand underneath it?
Yes.
He may have.
It's 2 parts for me. That, and then on the carom, does Preston push the ball out? See, I think his right hand is underneath that. And then on this carom where he tries to go catch it as it's floating over his head, does Sean Preston, number 12, come and punch it into the ground at all? As he kind of rolls over.
I don't think so. I think if you rule that he got his right hand under the ball at first, I think that is a catch. To me, I think the only thing that makes this an incompletion is if you say right there, that ball hit the ground.
And one of the benefits, you know, is with Besh wearing those white gloves, you can kind of confirm with the contrast of the football if his hand is actually under the ball or not.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
So they're saying that based on the fact that they ruled it incomplete on the field, they did not have definitive proof that he got his hand under the football. And that's big because it stops the clock. Had they ruled that a completion, it would have been 4th and 1, so LSU would have been punting, but they would have either taken another 40 seconds off the clock or forced Mississippi State to use another timeout. Wally on the return with a stiff arm. And gets bottled up at his own 34-yard line. So Mississippi State trying to mount a comeback after we check in with Matt Barry.
Bob Wischusen, this update is for you. 29 seconds left. Travis Levy right up the gut, lowers his shoulder, and Boston College has regained the lead, 34-31.
I mean, we could talk about Will Rogers and the day he's had today, but
We got to talk about the Jeff Hafley-led Eagles.
well, Will Rogers, second half, it's been a big one, 166 yards, and here he goes, back to work, taking what the defense gives, and it's not much. Malik Heath for a yard.
A big thing for Will Rogers is to understand you have plenty of time left.
Do you?
Absolutely.
You need 2 scores,
Yep.
2 timeouts, 5:15 to go.
Yeah, the goal is to get it to a 1-score game, and you can't do that if you're forcing the football. Take your completions.
He's going to run here. Take some yards that are given to him. But again, tackled inbounds by Clark. 3 yards shy of a first down. Obviously 4-down territory here for Mississippi State. Rogers has completed 9 in a row.
I say here, LSU is still in their 3-man front. You can pop your run here. You can pop a run and go get your first down.
And there's a first down catch. Christian Ford able to give Mississippi State a fresh set of downs, and that stops the clock for the moment, and now it starts again. 4.5 minutes to go. Only a 3-man rush. Again, an underneath throw. Diving forward with a flag down on the far side of the field.
I think you're going to get
Dylan Johnson.
I think you're going to get offensive linemen downfield, Bobby. You see that was that screen and the double clutch by Will Rogers.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 69. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's just really the right guard, Johnson. It's tough on the offensive linemen. They think the ball is out right now. So they're told follow, and they don't necessarily know that Rogers has had to do that kind of double clutch. It's a little bit on the quarterback right there to try to make sure that ball gets out on time.
And the clock starts rolling again. 1st and 15. Rogers, again well protected. Again, it's Dylan Johnson. Short of the first down by about 2, maybe 3 yards. So that will keep the clock rolling. He picked up 12.
Keep taking your completions. They've done such a nice job in their shallow cross game. Mississippi State has, as these shallow crosses are coming in, they're seeing the defenders in zone drop out, sit it down, ball placement by Rogers, catch and turn.
Scott Lashley, the right tackle, able to get back in there, but that took a lot of time. Rogers, again, middle of the field. Dylan Johnson, first down, stops the clock, at least for the moment. You could sense the crowd was getting antsy because they were waiting to run their next play because they took 2 350-pound guys and had to substitute. Took a long time to make that substitution.
There you go.
Hand off to Johnson. He's got about 6.5 more.
I love the tempo by Will Rogers, just the body language. Hey, urgency, 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 and back's doing a good job of getting out in their checkdowns.
Flag down. A false start's going to be called against Mississippi State.
False start, offense. Not all 11 players set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
This offense is doing a good job of getting these snaps off the receivers. It's really important for them to get set. You know, it's not worth it to have your feet set and then, oh, I'm supposed to be 6 inches wider on my split. Just get set.
When you're running your offense here, are you doing it in any way with the mentality of we want to score quickly enough that we don't have to onside kick? Or is it only about, regardless of time, we just have to get the ball into a position where we can score? As Rogers steps up, he'll take off and run, and he'll pick up a first down.
I think it's regardless, we got to get it to a 1-score game because a lot of it is dictated on what the defense does for you. You can't try to force that touchdown in a certain amount of time. That's how you get yourself in trouble. And I think Rogers is displaying a great ability to just take what the defense is giving him right now.
And off to Marks. And that dive for only 3 yards gets the crowd again to react, and now Mike Leach will spend timeout number 2. Well, that salts it away.
Second charge timeout of the half, Mississippi State. This will be a 30-second timeout.
To 2:23 to go with only one timeout remaining. Now,
set the game clock to 2 minutes and 27 seconds.
Regardless of whether or not you kick a field goal or score a touchdown, you are in onside kick.
Yeah, and real quick, because I understand the crowd is booing. It's a 3-man rush. 8 guys are dropping. You can't force the ball and, oh, game over because I forced an interception. Your job, get it to a 1-score game, and they're doing that, Mississippi State.
Let's get back to Matt.
All right, guys, Notre Dame getting a little bit of separation behind Connecticut's own Drew Pine. The backup is in. Kevin Austin over the middle. Right now, 24-13, midway through the fourth quarter.
The Nutmeg State, you cannot sleep on the football talent in the Nutmeg State.
Especially the quarterbacks that come out of there.
Exactly.
Kids can play.
Some of them.
Now, I think it's a good conversation because I get it. You got to time. Gary Kubiak, the head coach of mine at the Houston Texans, always said you got to end. If you throw a pick and end the game, that's on us. If we get the 4th and goal and we don't score, okay.
Offside. Defense number 11. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, Ali Gay just gave Mississippi State a free 5 yards, so now they're knocking on the door of the red zone. 2nd down and 2.
And the big thing you're preparing right now is also if you score, you're going for 2. You know, you're taking this 11-point game and make it into a 3-point game. So focus, continue to stay patient if you're Will Rogers and take your completions. Force LSU to tackle while they're tired.
He's now hit 13 in a row, and Makai Polk has a first down to the 16-yard line.
And if you're LSU, you're doing the right thing on defense. You're forcing the underneath throw like you have all game, and you're allowing this clock to wind down. So it's both sides. And another 5-6 yards, that's when you're getting to a point, Will Rogers. All right, ball's got to get challenged down the field and put in harm's way potentially.
4-man rush. This time he's looking end zone. Oh, through the hands of Malik Heath in the front left corner of the end zone. Heath with a frustrated slap of the hands. I think he knows he came that close to making it a 1-score game.
Yeah, it's a play very similar to what they ran at the end of the first half. It's just one-on-one with Heath to the field by himself. You know, I'd love to see Makai Polk have that opportunity. We've seen it twice with Heath, and they've been close touchdowns. I'd love to see if they can get Polk into that one-on-one with all that space to the field.
Another pass into danger along the sideline intended for Jameer Calvin. And now it will be 3rd down and 10, and Calvin slow to get up.
It's a long throw, right hash to the left. Trying to get that out route to Calvin in a condensed space with that underneath defender and corner driving. I really like their middle of the field game, Mississippi State. I really would love to see that high-low of the defense. And if you get it underneath, catch it, turn where the quarterback throws the ball, and try to split the defense.
Rogers, wheel route down the sideline. It's wide open for a walk-in touchdown for Marks. And now the 2-point conversion attempt will follow.
The Achilles heel shows up for LSU. Just a completely blown coverage. Watch the corner at the top of the screen. Here's the back. Marks free releases on the rail route. Ricks follows the shallow cross. One person's playing man, one person's playing zone. Uncovered tailback. It's the same stuff this defense gave up against UCLA, and it's the same stuff they gave up against Central Michigan last week.
Marks empties the backfield. Rogers looks his way. Now he's extending the play. It's a schoolyard attempt. It's a jump ball with a flag down. Did Marks make the catch? They say he's out of bounds. What an effort once again by Woody Marks. Just that close to getting a toe down for a 2-point play, but we have a flag down on the far side of the field.
I mean, Damone Clark absolutely tackled Woody Marks.
And Marks still almost was able to convert.
Holding. Defense number 18.
So now they'll put the ball at the 1.5-yard line.
There goes Woody Marks. They're going to start him left. He's going to free release to the right. They're just trying to get a pick play out to him. And watch Damone Clark. Plays it well. He's in the right spot. That's not holding.
Slam. End zone. Yes, the 2-point play is there. Malik Heath. 1:53 to go, and it's a long way from over. A field goal now separates LSU and Mississippi State.
Good job with the motion. Heath win. Little window. Rogers with a great ball placement sitting in that soft spot. If I'm an LSU fan, I'm upset about this, though, because I don't think that's a holding penalty on Damone Clark. The initial 2-point play. Woody Marks goes out in motion. I think there's just like a little bit of a trip of the feet. I mean, he hits him, but it's behind the line of scrimmage. There's no tug there. I just think their feet get collided behind the line of scrimmage. Ball's not in the air. So if I'm an LSU fan, I am upset with that flag.
Well, now all that separates LSU from securing this game is securing this onside kick. They have their hands team out there. Boutte on one side. And Brian Thomas, the freshman, on the other. That ball's batted around, but that's not going to travel the necessary 10 yards unless LSU touched it. Did LSU come up and touch the football, or was it contacted first by Mississippi State? It didn't even come close to going the necessary 10 yards.
It looked to me that Mississippi State had touched that ball first.
Illegal touching, kicking team number 7. The ball belonged to the receiving team at that spot. First down.
That's absolutely the right call. As Woody Marks touched the ball after it traveled probably only 6, maybe 7 yards.
Good job by the front people hitting. That ball basically pops right into Woody Marks' lap.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 53 seconds. Thank you.
So Mississippi State down to only 1 timeout remaining.
I mean, these should be 3 straight runs for LSU, because at worst case scenario, you're going to give the ball back potentially with about 20 seconds to go on the clock.
You would probably be punting with less than 20 seconds
Correct.
to go on the clock. And that's if Mississippi State gets what is a must-get stop to have any hope.
I take knees here. I'm not putting the ball in harm's way at all. I'm taking a knee, 3 straight plays. First down, Mississippi State will call their timeout. The next 2, we bleed the clock, punt them back.
The only thing about taking a knee is taking a knee takes 3 or 4 seconds less to do than running a play. You add that up, that could be a play or 2 that Mississippi State could still have at their disposal if you just immediately give yourself up and start the play clock. I'm not sure if that factors into the decision, but you're right. If you do just take a knee, if you're Max Johnson, then at least
The head coach from Mississippi State is challenging the ruling on the field. The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what aspect of this play Mike Leach is challenging. Unless he's going to say, based on replays they've seen up at the booth, that an LSU player got a hand in and maybe touched it, rather than it contacting Marks first.
I want you to educate me and educate our viewers, Bobby Shue.
Well, the ball has to go 10 yards unless LSU comes up and touches it. But if it doesn't go 10 yards and the first player to touch it is a Mississippi State player, then, as the official said on the field, that's illegal touching.
Well, it does not matter, correct? It does not matter that he gets blocked into the ball, correct?
No.
That is not a rule. I mean, if you're Mississippi State, it's worth the challenge. You have the experience of last week, right, where the officiating crew doesn't help you with the way they handled that situation.
And Mississippi State got hurt last week on a couple of aspects of that freaky punt return touchdown against Memphis, where an official came in and waved the play at least for a half a second dead, and maybe some of the Mississippi State players stopped. On top of that, there were 2 players from Memphis on the field, both wearing 4.
Right. And
that's illegal. That should have been a 5-yard penalty. So there should have been multiple things that played in the Bulldogs' favor.
I want to go back to the should we take a knee or do we hand the ball off situation. This is also, because your point of taking 3 or 4 seconds off the clock is fair, but it's also one where you teach your quarterback, Max Johnson, take the snap, backpedal a step or 2, hover, you tell your guys protect, and then you put your knee down. That burns 3 seconds, because if you punt the ball off with 20 seconds to go.
Now it won't matter.
The ruling on the field of illegal touching is confirmed. Mississippi State is charged their 3rd and final charge timeout.
So now, as I said, it won't matter, because when you challenge, if you are unsuccessful, you lose a timeout. That's the last timeout for Mississippi State. Now there's no reason to even have the debate. Now it's victory formation for LSU.
And I think it's the right challenge by Mike Leach. You might have one play if everything works out in your situation as an offense. Yeah. I mean, every completion that's short of a first down is 15 seconds minimum run. So it's a worthy challenge to use that last timeout.
I guess Mike Leach wants to get his challenge in, denied, and maybe get 2, 3, 4 more cents in and have it explained to him why the challenge was unsuccessful. But this game is now academic. And you know what? For LSU to come on the road against a team that you gave up close to 630 yards passing to next season, and 44 points, to allow them to score 25 today, but at the same time do such a good job for such a long stretch of the game defensively, keeping it in front of you. It's a really good win for Ed Orgeron's team to begin SEC play.
I completely agree, and the plan was really good. Impressed by the plan by Orgeron and Durante Jones, their defensive coordinator, of forcing that patient football out of Mississippi State. And if you're Mississippi State, you're bummed because of the missed opportunities and the mistakes that you kind of had your hand in that potentially took some points off the board.
Let's head back to Matt.
All right, guys, what a finish between Boston College and Missouri. Harrison Mevis, 56-yard field goal to tie it. He makes it. BC had the ball first. They would score a touchdown. So Missouri's turn, and Brandon Sebastian, the interception to seal it for BC. What a finish in Chestnut Hill. 41-34 the win.
Wow. As Max Johnson takes a knee once again. As a BC guy, I'm really happy with the result, but I'm also really happy I didn't live through that. Because as that 56-yard field goal was sailing through the uprights, I would not have been a happy camper.
That's a happy guy right there, Coach O.
And deserves to be.
I remember we did the LSU Texas A&M game last year, and that was with TJ Finley at quarterback, and he had a really nice performance, and the conversation was always, well, Max Johnson's there, and we want to give him a chance. And you talk about a guy that has had an opportunity at LSU, and he's kind of taken off, and he's emerging as one of the better players at quarterback in this whole conference.
And that will do it. A late push from Mississippi State, turned aside by LSU, and it's a road win for the Bayou Bengals and Ed Orgeron as they come to Starkville and hold on 28-25 over Mike Leach and Mississippi State. And those touchdown passes in the second half for Max Johnson were what put this game just far enough out of reach for LSU to hold on and win it by a field goal. Coming up next, we head to Raleigh, Clemson, and NC State. For Dan Orlovsky and Chris Button, I'm Bob Wischusen. Time to get to Raleigh, ACC football.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.